Welcome back, Sauce Trauma. Nice one. How'd you know? How'd you know? I usually have flannel on nowadays. How'd you know? Ugh. We need to AI generate it. Non-fawn, big guy flannel. Okay, fucking Ice Spice Parody. What's up, Hulk Flyer? Welcome back. I gotta go see what I decided to check up and see how you've been. I've been good, I guess. It's gonna be. It's gonna. I'm not gonna thank all the subs. It's updating since I was on Live and Learn, and like 20 people subbed from that. So it's got some people to go through. So yeah, they're not actually here right now. So fuck them. Some of them might be here. In that case, then don't fuck you. Wow, the kickbot followed me too. Wow, let's go. Let's go. That's so awesome. Obama soda. Okay, I gotta think Obama soda for this stuff. Let's fucking go. Coated metal soldering products. I'm gonna guess China. What did you learn while you were living? You know, what did I learn? What did I learn? Out of all the episodes, I could have been on okay. I got Live and Learn, I guess, often devolves into the PISCO v HUTCH fights. But I don't think they usually get that popular. Listen, I'm just a chill guy. I just want to talk about healthcare. I just want to talk about tariffs. I just want to talk about what else do I talk about? I don't know. I just want to talk about Powell. Okay, that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. And I learned that others do not want to do that. Okay, I'm guessing Japan. Okay, they're 5th. I feel like the US, we might be up there. I think Germany's a safer guess. Oh, okay, okay. Oh man, I bet it is the US. And GDP, yeah, I want to talk about GDP. Oh man, if only we got to that. BuzzFeed Accurate AF sorting quiz? What is this? Wait, this is the really Hogwarts house quiz? I've never seen or read Harry Potter. I thought it was gonna be something a little more relevant, a little more. I did the meme. Well, welcome back, Tusco Johnson. Ooh, okay, wait, I can be perfect, right? I can be perfect, okay? God. China, Japan, Germany, US. It could be fucking Italy. It's never Vietnam. It's never Vietnam. Fuck. Maybe South Korea, but I don't think it's South Korea. I think Israel. Does Israel make metal soldering products? I have no clue. I'm gonna guess. I feel like usually with this pattern, it's Italy. Damn it, they're 8th. What was it? South Korea? What South Korea? Fuck. It's usually not South Korea. Welcome back, Star Wars. Welcome back, Starfuse. Alvin, I think I found a really sloppish book. Unequal Exchange by, yeah, that's, that's not new, is it? I think I'm familiar. Also, I noticed my little icon is in the corner when it shouldn't be. Why is that happening? Interesting. That's from the 70s? Yeah, that's what, yeah. I've heard about it before. I've seen it mentioned. Is that where the unequal exchange memes originated? Oh, I'm gone. Let's go. I don't think so. Well, I mean, at least the formal on exchange memes, I would think so, but maybe not. Then if I control F the Karl Marx, am I gonna see unequal exchange memes? I don't know if he used the phrasing, but I think he had something in there like that. In the poor countries, due to low wages in a system, indeed, wages are an independent variable having nothing directly to do with the productivity of or with the relative scarcity of labor. Based. So you know, haven't you seen all those, I forget who made them, all those studies that are like, oh, actually, if you look at a clothing factory in, you know, Southeast Asia and one in the US, actually, the productivity, it's not that different, but the wages are super different. Hickle, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, it's like, or average productivity is going to be the thing that's quite a bit more important there. And that does roughly track with productivity. It's like 80% correlated or whatever. Unequal exchange is real, and that's why we need to open borders. That's true. This is true. That would, well, you know what? I mean, some of the memes, not some of the memes, some of the people who believe in the unequal exchange memes probably, I would guess a decent amount of them are far enough left where they do believe in like fully open borders, but maybe there's a decent amount of them that are like, you know, far enough left to have the old Bernie position of open borders would lower wages a ton. It'd be bad. Review the recent Destiny Ice debate. With who? Which one? So I know he went on like someone else's show. I think he went on Brad Columbo, whatever the fuck his name is, his show to debate it. I think there's like some call-in about it or whatever. Open borders would redistribute money from fat Americans to poor immigrants. Base. This is true. It's also, so you know, it's why government is responsible for creating 90% of global poverty. Okay, that's the government regulation are directly responsible for the poverty of millions. Wait, I saw this on fucking Twitter.
In order for
this one, it is only 43 minutes, which is not that long. I saw like a clip of it. Freedom of speech is truly dead. You can't even tell a conservative to drink full heat without catching a 1-week suspension. This is true. I can't believe, yeah, with soy pill, I got fucking banned for that. Or suspended. $1 billion, or 100 billion, sorry, in exports. Mostly cars and like some video displays. I don't know. I feel like it's not, I feel South Korea would have more shit than just this, but yeah. Mexico would have more. I think Mexico would have more in exports and also more petroleum. Also, 8,000 kilometers is not, that would not be North America, would it? I don't know kilometers. What's the immigration effect of overall obesity in America? I can't understand AGW in debates. All I hear is gargling. This is true. Yeah, the one clip I saw, it was, he seemed to just be justifying it. Essentially, yeah, it's not fucking North America. Like on the basis of, like, you agree, or like, you know, he was clearly obstructing the law enforcement operation, and he was interfering by picking up the woman, and that they were debating just a pepper spray at that point. It's crazy. I don't know, like no one when he says like obstructing a law enforcement operation, like no one gets from that picking up a woman who the ICE officer like previously shoved. And that, by the way, the shove also was kind of crazy. Like, you know, obviously it's not particularly bad with regards to what happened, you know, 20 seconds afterwards, but like that woman, she wasn't like restrained or anything. She was just like, he just like fucking pushed her. I'm a libertarian, but I'm pro ICE. Like, what a fucking R word. This is true. Too many of them out there. Tanzania, they make cars. Fucking it doesn't. Bosnia makes cars, right? Oh fuck. Where's the capital? Is the capital Croatia in like on the coastal part, or is it above it? Oh shit. Oh shit. There we go. Fuck. Belarus? That what's... God damn it. Slovakia? Fuck me. Baltics are too close for me to have good enough memory as to where they are. Germany? No, Germany would have way more than 100 billion, I think. Do I care about this?
This latest shooting that is dividing everybody, the shooting of Alex Pretty, and we've all seen the different video angles. It seems to me, given that he was disarmed before they shot him, given the fact that there were multiple agents restraining him, pushing him towards the ground, it seems to me like an unjustified shooting that could potentially be considered prosecuted for either murder or manslaughter at some point. But where are you at on this shooting?
Right. So, like, essentially, there are good shoots and bad shoots in terms of legality, but there's like shootings like this that exist in maybe like a moral gray area because we know with the benefit.
Is AJW, is he a lawyer? I don't think he is, right? But he does the like cop analysis shit, or at least he used to. I don't know if he's actually a lawyer or anything.
Benefit of hindsight that they got the firearm away from him. Now there's a lot of speculation that the firearm that the guy had, Alex Pretty, is one of these defective firearms that will like often improperly discharge, and I've seen video that makes the case that has happened.
Gray. I know the gray area morally, really. I feel like you can maybe argue it's a gray area legally, but the morally thing seems even less like a fucking gray area to me. What's up, Memento? Welcome back. Momentum.
As far as I know, but if you have officers yelling gun, 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 then you get the gun removed, and not every officer knows that. Hopefully in that situation people start shouting clear so that they know that the gun is gone, but then you hear a gunshot seconds later and then people respond to that gunshot. You're in a situation where somebody who died shouldn't.
The gunshot, I don't know if it's been confirmed yet or anything. The gunshot that there is suspicion of, by the way, very well could have been the negligent discharge from the officer who picked up the gun and started running away with it. I don't know if any that's been confirmed at all yet. That's the Twitter theories. Okay.
Shouldn't have died, obviously, and it's a tragedy, but it's not a crime. It's not a murder. It's not.
I don't think this guy's a lawyer. I think I'm just totally misremembering. I don't see anything on it, so.
It's not a manslaughter because they're responding to.
Someone said guns started blasting my official legal defense. The officer, by the way, who like shot first in the back, like maybe you could argue he didn't have enough time to react to it, but like you can see in the videos, he had, you know, he could see the officer taking the gun from the dude. Like that was within his within his eyesight. Like he was looking basically right at it. So he, you know, clearly should have known.
in that moment, and legally this is how we judge those standards. That being said, it is tragic. Like, I wish this guy would not have gotten
Because
shot
their criminal justice degree, that's it, yeah.
in this scenario. It's just that's what it looks like happened as of right now.
All right, Stephen, your perspective on this.
Yeah, so I mean, unless there's more circumstances that I'm not aware of, I just don't see any reason why the officers would have interpreted him as being a threat. We've heard a lot of crazy things from this administration, from Christy No.
Did you see the first firing officer see the officer disarm the victim? Is that true? Yeah. So in one of the videos, I can find it, I guess. The officer who like shot him is standing to I think Alex Paredes, the guy's right, where he has his gun, and then like someone comes up from behind him and takes the gun, and as the gun is being taken away, like the officer that shot him is I think he actually threw his pistol before his gun was even like deholstered. Alex's gun was deholstered, and then he like moved around to the back and shot him. I don't know if the New York Times shows the. Yeah, agent unholsters his weapon. Agent in gray appears to remove a gun. You can see like in the if you just look at like the stabilized video, it seems pretty clear to me. But he talks about legal stuff so confidently, so I trust him. What if they suspected there was a second firearm? I just don't think that's a reasonable assumption.
From the guy who just got fired, but I want to say Bongino, but it's not him. Bovino.
Yeah.
Greg
the guy
Bovino.
who was the commander, the commander of the at-large forces for ICE, and then Trump himself has been posting on Truth and everything that this guy was attacking officers and was brandishing his weapon and acting in a threatening manner, and I just don't see that.
True. Hold on. Look, this is the officer that shot him, right? Oh god, Reddit doesn't have as fine video control as I would like. Can I slow it down? God, kill me. Where is it not on Reddit?
That anywhere. I don't see how this cop could have ever thought that this person was a threat. There's a lot of questionable stuff leading up to the altercation to where he.
What's up, Venezuelan?
I
Kangaroo,
just
welcome
don't see
back.
any justification. There's some things
What if it had infinite guns hidden in his pants?
you can kind of be on the wall with, but for this particular shoot, I don't see how it was an ethical or a legal shoot when one considers the totality of the circumstances. I don't think that officer should have ever felt like his life was in danger.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, Sean, legally speaking, is whether the officer would have a reasonable fear of their life being or bodily safety being in imminent danger. And if they do, then that's where you get a legally justified shooting. But if they don't, and not to say they weren't scared, they could fear for their life, but that fear might not be reasonable to an average person. And when you have a situation where this guy is basically like face down towards the ground, his back is up, there is a gun involved, and you mentioned that it may have discharged, of course. We don't know that for sure. That's being investigated. And I guess my question is, how much does that even change, though? Because well-trained officers hear a gun discharge and just immediately unload 10 bullets on the person in front of them who isn't holding or touching a gun. That doesn't sound right.
And kept unloading into him when he was fucking just lying on the ground motionless. It's like it was 10 shots that were fired, right?
Not that
Might
I'm
have been
so
more.
trained as an LEO.
Sure, because you're skipping a few steps. So first of all, prior to them removing the firearm from him, it was identified. They're all shouting gun, gun, gun. So everyone in that space knows that this suspect has a gun at that moment. Then they get the firearm away. We don't know if all of the officers know that that firearm has been removed. Then you hear the discharge of a weapon.
It looks like the one that shot him at least should have known.
And so it's like, oh, everybody identified that this guy had a gun, whether they saw it or not. They understand that that's what's being called out to the other officers. Then you hear a discharge of a firearm and they react to that discharge. So it's not like a gunshot from across the street that had nothing to do with anything while they were first approaching this guy. This is mid-altercation, mid-resisting arrest that this happens, which is why, again,
There's no way to find an excuse this time. The mental gymnastics will not save them this time. Well, save them from what? I think if you look, I'm sure, I don't know if there's polling on this fucking incident specifically. There's a reason people hate ICE right now. Okay, there's a reason there was that big swing towards people supporting abolishing ICE even before the this recent shooting just based on the Renee Good one. And I said this on Live and Learn. But also, I have like essentially apolitical friends, and the only time I see them engaging with politics is for the like ICE shit. or at least that's what they, primarily will mention publicly on their Instagram stories. Like, yeah.
And I consider this an unfortunate shooting, but not a criminal shooting.
Right. I don't know if you make a massive mistake in your perception and somebody is disarmed and still shot because you misunderstand something. I mean, isn't that what manslaughter charges are?
Well, if somebody's disarmed when, though? Like, we're talking within a span of a couple of seconds. Like, he did have the gun on him. That's why the guns were drawn in response. You have all these people yelling out gun, gun, gun. So they think that he has.
Kind of. The simple, like, the officer drew his arm before before the Alex dude was even disarmed, right? And there is no, it doesn't seem like there's any indication that Alex was gonna withdraw his arm or try to shoot anyone, right? Based on his actions beforehand, and based on his actions even when he was like on the ground. And the legally carrying part doesn't strictly matter for the self-defense or whatever. Is Destiny the moderator? No. I mean, I don't know if Brad is technically supposed to be the moderator. Obviously he's intervening, but Brad is, I think, probably technically supposed to be the moderator. Hold on. The gun removed is right there. This guy is already pulling his weapon out. And then he moves around to the back of him. Oh, this video doesn't have that much of it, but you can see him start to move. And then once he hears a gunshot, he just starts unloading. So the rest of the officers
has the firearm. And then again, we don't know right now if it's the case that this gun actually
My apolitical mother says it feels like we don't live in a democracy anymore. Based. Yeah. People are seemingly, some of them are waking up.
discharge. It looks like it from a video, but it's a slow down, grainy video. I'll give you that. But you have a discharge of a shot, then a slight delay, and then you have the shots coming in after the fact. And you're like, oh, well, he's not facing them at that moment in time. There are plenty of instances where somebody's turned away from you and they're firing. It's obviously...
Well, he's not touching the gun.
My parents don't talk about politics. He's genuinely annoying him out because of ICE.
Wall Street Journal did the frame by frame, and they found it.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know why. This is the... Maybe it's just because the videos are the easiest thing to that go viral. And it's harder to do. It's harder to make a viral video about USAID or any of the other shit. But yeah.
Point was he touching the gun?
Destiny is stimming.
Be touching the gun there if it's in a border patrol agent's possession. So
right. So why are they?
It's be crazy if Republicans win even after this stuff. I mean, I don't think they'll do well in the midterms, and I doubt they'll win the next presidency. But there's plenty of Republicans who are just never gonna. They're just never gonna switch. Plenty of Republican safe seats in Congress. Plenty of states that are, gonna vote Republican for president and Senate no matter what.
Well, why did they ever draw their firearms? I don't think it was because he was reaching for a gun or saw.
It's because they identified.
Your Twitter game is strong. You just got to leverage that. What do you mean? Historically, the midterms usually go against the sitting admin. Yeah,
a gun on his possession, which is why they were shouting "gun, gun, gun." And
sure,
again,
it can't be the rule.
Nonviolent sympathy has borders, even if morality shouldn't. That's
you have
true.
a gun on you, the cops can draw their firearms and execute.
Unfortunately,
especially when leading up to the circumstances. But there is leading up to the circumstances. There's no reason to think that this guy was a threat or that this guy was.
If you have a firearm, you can watch as many traffic stops as you want where somebody identifies that they have a legal gun in the car. There is a great chance that the officer will draw their gun just based on the notification that you have a gun, and that's not even in a situation where somebody's actively resisting arrest and there's a struggle. So they didn't shoot him because he had possession of a gun.
That is absolutely not true. I've seen so much cop slot videos. They do not just draw their firearm just because you identified that you have one in the car. Now, if you're reaching for a gun, or if officers believe you're reaching for a gun, or if you're scuffling and somebody identifies a firearm,
if they expect the chance of a deadly force threat, then they will. Then not all the time. Obviously, you can find videos where this doesn't happen, but they will very likely draw their firearms in that scenario because you want to have it at the ready.
I agree, but you just totally changed your argument. You said expect deadly force. Just merely
identifying.
No,
I didn't say expect deadly force. I said expect them to have their guns out.
That's not what you. Well, okay. If you want to say
that he was executed for having a
just
firearm.
said they expect deadly force threat. A cop will not draw his.
Yeah, that's the type of content HAW makes, or at least used to make. I don't even know if he does the cop stuff anymore. He just does the politics stuff, I think.
Weapon simply because you've identified that you have a firearm.
Because they expect a firearm is a deadly force threat.
We're still not getting 60 Senate seats, unfortunately.
I've been pulled over several times with a firearm in my car.
I don't even think that's. It's not. That doesn't seem very possible for the foreseeable future. But
or can still carry. Just because you identify the officer, you have a firearm doesn't mean that
there might be a better chance of just getting rid of the filibuster than there is of getting 60 Senate seats.
pull their gun out and aim it at you. They'll probably ask to be the ones to remove it. They'll probably ask to be the ones to handle the firearm, which is fine. But simply having a firearm does not necessitate them brandishing their weapons at you.
Again, but you're cutting out the context. You're cutting out the context of the situation. He didn't just have a firearm on him when they first approached him. He had it mid resisting arrest. That's when this information was revealed. And that's when
he didn't pull the firearm at all. The cop was fighting.
But that's when this information became known to the officers.
Sure, that's fine, but they shouldn't have been tackling him and pushing him onto the ground. There was no reason for.
He intervened in their other encounter with that lady.
He did not assault.
It's like, bro.
Sean, let's just be clear. Everyone's seen the video, and I understand when you see him, we see a woman pushed to the ground who he may or may not have been with, and then we see him kind of step in front of and put an arm up in almost like a de-escalation attempt, and then he does touch the officer, but you acknowledge he wasn't like assaulting the officer. That maybe it was a mistake.
I said he was intervening with whatever that encounter was.
And does that inherently constitute obstruction if you simply step into a situation?
Like he was literally putting his body in between them to obstruct them. Like if you go see somebody get arrested on the street, like go put your body between that person.
I mean, I agree that's a mistake to do. I agree that's a mistake to do.
Hold on, wait. To be clear, the lady was not being arrested. We have no evidence of that whatsoever. The cop was just shoving.
Yeah, I was gonna say. By the way, it doesn't even seem like the lady was being arrested. He just the officer just pushed her. He just pushed her over.
People over. It just seems like the cop is.
It does look bad.
Well, not just bad, but the cop is just acting with an unjustified use of force that makes no sense unless he's just like attacking people. Like there's no point in an arrest. You're just shoving people over for what?
Again, fine. If you see an officer put somebody on the ground and it's not clear whether they're arresting them or not, then go put your body in between you and that person, and see if that's going to work out for you.
Sure. So you conceded the whole argument because you keep morphing the words every time.
I'm not morphing anything.
You are. If you see an officer put somebody on the ground, if the officer was like.
So first of all, that woman was in the middle of traffic.
Going to the ground. We're not talking about any of that. He shoves the woman with his arm, right? Do you acknowledge that he just shoves the woman aside with his arm?
Yeah, he shoves the woman that's in the way. Yeah.
Well, she wasn't in the way when he shoved her.
Right? Shoves the woman. Okay, go ahead.
So he shoves the woman with his arm. Doesn't look like there's I don't know why you would do that. If you want to arrest him, you probably hold them still and arrest them, right? It seems like he just just shoves the lady away, and then the guy, I don't even know if he puts his hand on her, but it looks like he steps in and then turns around to pick the woman up as the cop just starts pepper spraying the guy with the phone. Why? There's no reason.
He gets in between the officer and the subject that he's engaged with, and
which is not a good idea.
I mean, even like even if you take AJW's like interpretation, which seems a little weird, why would you? It seems weird to infer any type of like actual deadly intent from that. Like what? Like why would you not just assume that like he's like, even if he is like a fucking like evil leftist dude, which I think he was definitely like left leaning, right? And he's like he's been fucking following ICE and doing shit or whatever before, but like why from the act of you stopping someone from getting arrested, stopping some woman from getting arrested, would you then think that like this guy's intent was at all to like pose some serious threat to you? I mean, I guess they'll just say, oh, well, they assume that at the point when the gun was being revealed.
The subject, he just pushed her, he just shoved her away, and that was it.
He's moving towards her when this guy comes in.
He was in the middle of traffic, whatever happened there. Yeah, well, I mean, that's like that's what the ICE protesters
cuts them in between. You don't know what's going to happen.
Sure, you don't, but I know that there's no reason for the cop to start pepper spraying the guy. The guy's locked in like a death quick time event. As soon as the cop starts to close the gap, and he pepper sprays the dude for no reason. We've got escalation there. Then they start fighting. I don't even want to say fighting. The guy doesn't even fight back. He turns around, he's slipping on the ice, and then the cop gets his whole crew over to tackle the dude and execute him.
Yeah, John, can I ask you this? You don't think the ICE officer, regardless of whether you think the ultimate decision to pull the trigger is justified, you don't think these officers like seem well trained and handled the situation well, do you? Because it seems like amateur hour to me. It seems like they escalated. Seems like there was like 6 of them and they couldn't restrain one, probably soy-filled guy who is not exactly, looks like he's difficult to control. It doesn't seem like ICE is exactly sending their best to Minneapolis right now.
I mean, first of all, I believe this was like CBD, Customs and Border Patrol, not ICE.
Yeah, so DHS still, but yeah.
But again, like, what are you supposed to do in this scenario? Like draw me a picture of how to do it better if they can't get in control of this individual that's on the ground. And then during that process, which is seconds long, they end up finding out that he has a gun. Like one of them got in there and removed the gun. I think that was really effective to get in there and remove the gun.
What?
You can't imagine them having done a better job here? Really? Talkin, will you side with PISCO? With regards to what? Probably a picture. Well, yeah. Grok, generate a video of ICE not killing this dude. Like, again, at the very least, the unloading, like, fucking, it wasn't quite a mag dump. I'm being hyperbolic, but fucking mag dumping the dude. Like, after he was face up, like, lying on the ground. Like, bro, you can't imagine them being better trained. Or even pushing the woman again. Like, bro. AJW is genuinely zero desire to have true beliefs. Yeah. They killed our stoliest boy, and it will not stand.
Unfortunately, that was
True.
Even dogpiling him.
There are
though.
million-
I don't know if Salshram said a threat of violence to ICE officers. Might have to report that one to DHS guys.
part
I don't
bad
know.
training, or was that
There
part
are-
good training?
The bad training was, one is shoving a lady with your arm. There's no reason to do that, so that was bad. Pepper spraying the guy for literally no reason. That was bad. Attacking or tackling this dude who's now totally discombobulated, who doesn't seem to be a threat at all. That was bad. Bringing all your boys over to tackle the dude. That was bad. Smacking the dude in the face over and over again with the bottom of the mace or whatever. That was bad. And then taking the gun off him, having a negligent discharge, and then executing the guy. All of these things were bad. There
They
at no
pepper
point
sprayed the
was any
guy
of this
after he interceded in their action, which you're
That's
like,
not
well,
enough.
I don't know if it was
Does
going to
that
be an
justify
arrest.
a pepper
That's not
spray?
enough to pepper spray the guy.
What are you
Because the
supposed
guy-
to? So you're like, don't
use
shove
your
them,
words. You
don't
could say,
pepper
hey,
spray.
you could say, wait, I just
They had
wanna-
already. There was already a previous engagement with him where they told him to
I
move
just
back
wanna
in
be-
the earlier video.
Sure, I just
So
want
they
to
had already
clearly
warned
state that.
him. So what are you
I want
talking
to
about?
clearly state that. So when a guy is standing in front of you with a phone, the only thing that you can do from that point on is
He's
to
not just
make the
standing
guy.
in front of them. Like I
Yes,
get,
he
like
is.
in order for you,
He picked the woman up, so you know he helped the
not
woman.
tell the truth, but he was interceding in between him and the woman that the ICE agent or the border
He was
patrol agent
standing in
was
front of the guy.
engaged
That
with.
was it. He wasn't punching him. He wasn't hitting him. He
Oh, he's
wasn't
just standing in front of him, and there was no
Exactly.
there was no contact.
Also, wait, I just hold on. I bet Destiny will get to this, but we'll see.
In order for your scenario to work, you have to not tell the truth. But he was interceding.
Bro, no, would you ever apply that logic to Trump? And what Trump and Kristi Noem and all these like people in administration have been saying about both Renee Good and Alex Purdy? Like calling them domestic terrorists, saying that Alex was there to do as much damage as possible.
In between him and the woman that the ICE agent. He did not
And
put
so-
his body in between him and
But
the person
even-
that he was engaged with. No,
So you're telling me the only path from that point forward is he has to start pepper spraying the guy.
I'm saying that is a proper use of pepper spray in that scenario. Like, what
I'm
do you?
not
What
sure
do
it
you
is. He's
want
not
to do?
using force to threaten anybody. You could say you're
He's
under arrest
using
for
his body
resistance
to
or
repeat what you're
obstruction.
doing.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back, and then if he attacks you or tries to run away, maybe then something could be justified. But simply
Yeah.
the fact that he didn't immediately like back down and turn around does that
First of all,
really
this guy
justify
was
the
already
pepper spray?
pushed by agents prior to this in a previous video. Have you not
He
seen
didn't
that video?
attack or do
from
anything
the
I
back.
have,
He didn't strike or do
when he
anything
was
back, which
approaching
goes
them
to the-
before.
Which goes to the opposite of mind that he shouldn't have thought the guy was a threat because he didn't attack or do anything there either.
No, he ignored a warning. Typically, when you're escalating your behavior as a person like that is, which again, he already approached the agents. They already pushed him away in the previous video, and then they get into it with this woman. She ends up getting shoved to the ground. He throws his body in between them, which you describe again very deceptively as just standing. He just happened to be standing there.
nobody's-
Like,
you
isn't
say
that
getting
weird?
into
How he
it.
happened to end up
Nobody's-
right between the border patrol agent and the woman on the ground,
Nobody
and then they use
disagrees that
pepper
he's
spray.
blocking. Yes, he's blocking the officer, sure, but the officer's not getting into it with the woman. He just rage shoves her away. That's all you see. And the guy moves over, he intercedes, and then he goes to pick the woman up, and then the officer starts pepper spraying. You don't think there's any other action the officer could have taken at that point?
I mean, he could have tackled him. There was plenty of things that you could do.
He could
but
have just said,
decided
"Sir, move aside." He could have said, "Sir, I'm going to arrest
That's
you now."
what
He
they
could've said,
already
It's not even just him, by the way. I mean, he had plenty of backup there eventually.
already engaged with this guy.
I don't know if I doubt the pepper spray was illegal, but like, bro, you got like 6 people there.
Before, and he still
I think if they were better trained, probably would not have had as much issues restraining him without pepper spray, or just, actually being able to restrain him in general. But they were fucking dogpiling him.
They didn't
back
say they were
off.
detaining him. They did say they were arresting him, and he did back off. That's why there was no earlier engagement.
It's actually just comply immediately, or they can abuse you in whatever way they see fit. He's just saying I don't mean he's not even talking legally here, is he? Didn't he start out with the moral thing?
That ended in physical
no, he
violence.
didn't back off because he jumps in right here.
He doesn't
I
jump
wanna
in.
ask you
He's
a
standing
question.
there.
In that
He's
previous
being pushed.
instance, are we
So
pretending
now
that
he
didn't
gets pepper
happen?
sprayed. Okay.
So, Stephen, I want to ask you a question because I've seen liberals and progressive commentators, and I
Don't want
understandably
me any
upset.
of them. I'm the Rittenhouse guy, remember. Sorry.
I know you're a little different because you are actually a Second Amendment pro-gun rights guy, but and suddenly a lot of conservatives are like, if you have a gun, you're asking to be shot. Not you, Sean, of course. Not saying that about you, but we've definitely seen a few people get roasted for that. But I do wonder, we've seen people like Mayor Frey, I think, really make this situation worse. Encourage people to engage in kind of disruptive protests that cross the line into illegality, like
Oh my
taking over
God.
a church. I mean, I don't want to get into that whole debate, but for example,
I haven't seen anything from the politicians in Minnesota that like actually says they want people to do violent things. All of the speeches I've seen, they seem to explicitly caveat with peacefully and like in a meaningful way. That's not just the Trump peacefully and patriotically meme, right?
this idea that people are praising this man who was killed, which of course his life being lost is terrible, and I really do think important questions need to be asked, for putting himself in that situation. There almost seems to be at least a portion of the left that seems to be actively encouraging people to interfere with ICE operations. And even if you think those operations are wrong or immoral or illegal, that seems like only a recipe for putting more people in danger. Do you not agree that that's a bad idea to do?
So there are multiple parts to this question. So the first thing is, unless I've missed something, I don't know if I agree with the characterization that Frey or Walls has told people to do anything illegal. I feel like I hear them over and over again say, make sure that
Well,
you're
he called for the
protesting.
release of the activist who criminally obstructed the church ceremony.
What's up, awesome Joe
Was that criminal?
Gaiman?
So
Yeah,
I
it
watched.
was
So I
definitely, I
watched.
think it was criminal.
Welcome
Sure,
back.
no,
Shut down someone's service. Shout it
So
down.
I watched this, and I really did. I watched about an hour, but I couldn't see more. That if anybody asked them to leave and they didn't, past that point, it's easily trespassing for sure, right? But I don't know. I feel like there was like a 30-minute inside thing, and then everybody left.
I mean,
I don't know if.
I don't want to,
I mean,
but it is a
mhm.
face act violation when you go and
Maybe.
shout down a church service, and that's what it's being investigated for.
Sure, okay. I mean, it could be investigated for that, sure. But I mean, I don't know if I heard any like the mayor or the governor say like go into churches and protest into churches. You could argue that No, actually, I won't even steel man that. Like they've over and over again told people that if they're going to protest, to do it lawfully, to do it peacefully, to not be aggressing on people or to be doing things that could be criminal behavior. Like I've heard that statement said over and over and over again. Even if people are engaged in some level of criminal behavior when it comes to blocking ICE people or protesting where they shouldn't, the answer can't just be execute them. That's just absolutely absurd. And you can feel that that ICE is acting in an immoral way, that it's still within the borders of the law, and so there's some level of civil disobedience where you're like, well, I'm going to accept getting arrested in this case. I wouldn't necessarily recommend people do that because it's breaking the law, and who knows what their criminal penalties will be. But like the answer can't be execution.
All right, you keep saying execution. That doesn't feel like a fair characterization to me.
Congrats.
It's not like you set out there looking to kill someone in cold blood, Stephen.
I mean,
it's a situation gone wrong.
Well, I'm not sure they necessarily set out there looking to kill someone in cold blood. I think it's pretty obvious. There's ICE, number one, is just not well trained. Number two, there's probably some, general culture of not being particularly opposed to doing that.
When it's going wrong, but the officers are like feeding into it every single level of the interaction. Like again, if you watch that video from start to finish, I don't know why the officers shoving people around. It's kind of crazy.
No,
and then like him pepper spraying the guy. Like all of this is just escalating until somebody dies, and then it's like, well, I don't know what happened. It's like, why? Like there's no reason for them to be behaving in such a manner. You're inducing an event where you're going to have to kill somebody.
I mean, what we're seeing by these left-wing agitators is not protesting. Like if you had an issue with your local police department and you decided to quote unquote protest them by following them around during the course of their operations, blowing whistles to make sure suspects that they were looking for escaped, obstructing them in the middle of traffic,
legal, right?
We would call that criminal activity. Like you can't do that to your local police department. You can't do that to your local police department. So the idea that this is like regular ordinary protesting,
somebody in video recording them and blowing a whistle, is that legal or illegal?
It depends, actually. Like you could call it like disturbing the peace if you're making like obnoxious noise. Like I live in New York City. If I do,
wow, true.
Police will show up to my apartment.
Yeah, that was a good pivot. So that's not illegal, right? If they want to arrest them for disturbing the peace or whatever, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, obstructing law enforcement operations is definitely illegal. Again,
but
if the police are raiding a building in order to arrest somebody and you were blowing a whistle so that person in said building would escape, which is what these people are effectively doing, that would...
For all of the... I mean, my understanding, there probably could be cases where it is technically illegal to do all three of those things together with like this intent of making sure, someone escapes custody or whatever. But like just filming, just following them, that is all First Amendment protected activity if they're on duty or whatever. And clearly, ICE fucking needs people watching them.
Obviously be illegal.
Well, my understanding is it's not illegal. This is why you have apps on your phone that will literally warn you when there's a speed trap ahead, that this stuff has been decided to be free speech.
We're not talking about the same thing. You're interfering with an active operation.
Notifying people of law enforcement presence has been in some cases upheld to be a form of protected speech.
Yeah, that's also... Again, you're talking about something different, though. If you go during an operation, let's say they're doing a drug bust in your neighborhood, right? You're a libertarian, you're against the drug war. If you follow them on their way to a drug bust and made as much noise as possible in order to make sure that the people who had the drugs in the house that they were about to raid got away, do you think you would be arrested? Or do you think that, First Amendment activity,
I do think I would get arrested.
In that case, in that case you could be. But for the ICE stuff here, it doesn't seem like these are the types of targeted operations they're claiming. The names that they've been releasing, Minnesota has come out and said they don't even have some of these people in custody, or these people don't exist, or the records are like 20 years old. So it seems like we can't even trust that ICE is on any kind of targeted operation. For Renee Good, apparently they're just going door-to-door knocking. It wasn't a targeted raid or targeted bust. I believe for Alex Pretty, I think that he was just in front of like they were in front of some federal office or whatever, so that wasn't a targeted raid or bust either.
First of all, that's not information that these people who are following them around know. They're not like, oh, well, I'm against ICE enforcement because they have technically... They're actively trying to disrupt them when they know that they're finding a person. So they have the intent to disrupt a law enforcement operation.
You're simply wrong on the law there.
Sean,
just by blowing the whistle by cops...
I don't know what the... Obviously, I don't know what the exact law is, but I would imagine... It, like, he's in the case that actual justice warrior described, you would be arrested, but I would imagine there's some element of like you have to intentionally be like trying to do something more specific than like just alert people of the presence of ICE. Do you watch the Decker Pavlov debate? Yeah, I did, of course. Yeah, not on stream, but yeah.
It's moving around in
I love Decker so much, bro. I'm waiting on Drew's Sound Micro Foundations. Where are they, Drew? Give them to me. Give them to me.
It doesn't count as obstruction. It's been ruled on.
Yes, it's got to be illegal. What, the drug thing or the just alerting people to presence of ICE generally thing? I don't know for sure. It could be like maybe it's illegal. I don't know. My goat Decker it's coded. But like I would guess, the same way like it's probably like at least in some cases it's not illegal to generally alert people of the presence of police. It wouldn't be illegal to the drug thing. Yeah, it wouldn't be illegal to like generally alert people to the presence of ICE or whatever. Although like if you, I imagine like if you fucking knew like there was an undocumented immigrant in your home, if you were Anne Franking an undocumented immigrant family and ICE came to your door and you did, you know, lied or whatever. I imagine like that probably would be illegal, but you know.
This is not obstruction. It's not.
Sean, you do acknowledge that they do have a First Amendment right to record the officers, right?
Yeah, you have a right to record, of course.
So when people are following, and that's what this guy seemed to have originally be doing, is trying to serve as an observer and record ICE. And frankly, I have no issue with that. And I think that people, while they shouldn't get involved in the situations, which I think he did choose to do, and I do think was a mistake, even if it didn't justify his death, I do think people have a right. And I am kind of disturbed.
Again, like I have nothing against this guy personally. I wish he was not shot in this particular situation. It is a tragedy. You have every right to record law enforcement during their operations, but obviously when you're blocking people in, which is what Renee Good was doing, when you're doing the whistles to make sure people get away, the whole entire purpose of that is to.
Who was Renee blocking in?
She was blocking the road.
You just said when you're blocking people in. That's not
she was
blocking
the road.
Okay.
She was like, there are literally cars that she waved past her. She might have been someone in the way of the fucking truck that ICE had or whatever, but.
So okay, so you've changed your words. That's fine.
All right.
Decker should have just spent the debate asking them both basic questions about immigration and econ. Motherfuckers said the Trump numbers were plausible. Yeah. Yeah. That. It's funny because, like, I don't know what, like, Drew or I don't think Drew mentioned it actually, but the other guy was thinking on the Hunter Ash dude. It's like, I think it's good to have a discussion about the actual policy here about immigration. It's like you're talking to Nicholas Decker. I don't know how you think, you know, what you think you're gonna get out of that one, buddy. I don't know what you think is gonna happen to you there. But I think your odds are very low at succeeding in in convincing anyone. Well, actually, in convincing people, Decker might just be too autistic. But like what Destiny wanted to focus on, which initially was like just lies that DHS was saying, and there was something. I think he brought up something else as well, but like he just like totally avoid. Oh, the actual prompt of the debate, the Insurrection Act. Totally forgot that was the actual prompt of the debate. They barely, like I don't think, regardless of your views on immigration, or I don't want to say entirely regardless, but you know, essentially regardless of your views on immigration, you should be able to recognize probably not a case worthy of invoking the Insurrection Act. Gotta watch a PISCO for X Avi after this on the boat strikes. I watched at least some of it, at least not on stream, but that happened a while ago, didn't it? Oh, sorry, I just got super fucking triggered because I opened the YouTube homepage to look at the PISCO thing. We got good logic on. Oh no. Oh, okay. Wait, they're not on. Okay, he's just reacting to it. Okay.
Because I do have this debate tomorrow, officer, because you haven't, it's not, you're not trying to figure out which is more likely. You have to say that there is not a
whatever. Apparently Ryan and Gen Z attorney are debating PISCO and not PISCO, Soy Pill and someone else. It might be PISCO. It'd be funny if it was PISCO, but about the newest ICE shooting. Decker is rhetorically disabled, unfortunately. Yeah. Obvious let a Zog annihilate his reasoning skills. I haven't even seen him talk about Israel-Palestine specifically in a while, but sometimes he just makes some weird Zionist-occupied reasoning. That's true. He does some weird shit there. Are you talking about this one? Because I've seen some of this one. I don't really care to watch it on stream because I'm not going to have much to comment on, but. I'm wearing 2 free Palestine bracelets. Why not 3? Why not 5? What? PISCO was so jittery during it? I don't remember that.
She was blocking
I
the road.
do-
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't misspeak for like 1 second. She was blocking the
But I'm
road,
just
or
thinking
as
blocking
many
in
people would
implies
say,
that
not
you're
blocking
being
anything,
lied,
just
Christy
parking
Gnome said.
perpendicular in the road as you would normally do.
That Christy Gnome said, where Christy Gnome said that she was blocking people in or ramming them with a car. That was the lie that Christy Gnome said.
She ran the officer with the car. I mean, that's on video. So.
Okay, how much do
He
I?
jumped in front of the car and he shouldn't have been there. He should
No,
have
no,
been
she
there.
squared up to face him. Again, that's on the video. Like when she was reversing,
then why is it
she aligned the car with him.
She aligned to go right, which is exactly the path the car took.
No,
why
she
is
went
the officer in front of a
straight.
moving vehicle? Why
She
was
went straight and then was turning. And again, here's what we're doing right now. We're
We've seen
basing
the
this.
video. What?
We're basing this on, oh, well, and when I slowed down the video and I looked at it with hindsight in 2020, which is the exact opposite of the legal standard, I determined based on the trajectory of the wheels that she was turned enough, whatever that means, to make that an unjustified shooting. No,
The
that's
legal
ridiculous.
standard-
Sean, right up on the car,
no,
she makes
no,
contact with him. The idea that he has to count because she was all the way reversed, remember? There's 3 turns in a steering wheel. He has to count.
Bro, I don't. Obviously, like the legal standard, I think does take into account the time frame, right? That you have to react to stuff, but that's not. Obviously, the videos and everything are going to be relevant to determining her intent and determining whether the officer had some reasonable fear and whether it was reasonable to think that shooting her would stop the threat. I just checked. Avi talked about the justification for Zionism on Twitter recently. Oh, I guess I just haven't seen it.
1 full revolution, which would be straight, or 1.5, which would be all the way for the turn, and then he makes that determination in a split second, and that's a fair standard, is absurd.
Yep. Good for
Again,
Sean,
she
let
can't
Destiny give us a thought on that.
argument, so
So
continue.
wait. So the truth is that it's a totality of the circumstances. The officer's been interacting with her for over a minute beforehand. It doesn't seem like she was a murderer. This is like a large, like lesbian white wine mom woman. He's arguing with her and her partner. There's no reason for that officer to have in his mind the idea that she's about to try to murder cops. And
I mean, except for her.
Who is Zionist? If all Zionist means is think the state of Israel should exist, then technically, but I don't think that's what people get from Zionism most of the time.
Accelerating at him, and again, you're trying to do this thing where you make it based on her intent, which is not what's
It's not
argued. It's
about
not the
why you
standard.
keep
Whether or
lying.
not
It's about-
a
I said
reasonable
multiple
officer
times-
in that same position would fear death or serious bodily injury with a
Considering
car
a
accelerating towards
more
him.
filibustering. It's considering a totality of the circumstances.
No,
the woman
that's
has
not.
shown
The standard
it
is
is
whether
the
a
standard.
reasonable officer in that scenario would fear death or serious bodily injury, as the,
Yes.
again, not without the benefit of hindsight, with the information
No
known
one's
to him at
talking
the time.
hindsight.
Nafal thinks it's all greater Syria. That's
Totality
true.
talking about-
Give it to fucking our favorite neoliberal jihadist. Stop talking about Zionism or else. I agree. Self drama with that determination. What do you mean Zionism is most of the time? As in, like, what people get, as what most people interpret Zionism to mean in most contexts is usually more than just simply, like, the state of Israel should exist.
Wheels being turned, like
I'm
from
not
which
talking about
again
the
people
wheels being turned.
describe
I've said this
from
multiple
behind.
times. It was her interaction before with the cop. There was nothing violent said. There was nothing crazy going on. She didn't seem to be demonstrating any lethal or violent intent. And no reasonable person up to that point who ends up walking in front of the car would think like, oh God, she's about to murder me. If you look at the
She's about to
totality
hit him
of
with the car as she
if
is
you look at-
running at him with the car.
as he walks in front of her car.
Running at him with her car. That's crazy.
But
Sean,
She's
Sean,
she
guys,
backed up
guys,
to
I gotta
reverse
retake
the
Yeah,
you
and
here for a
she
second.
turned her wheels and aligned
So-
better with him.
Sean, guys,
Totality of the
guys,
circumstances.
hang
She
on,
wasn't
hang on.
violent or anything prior to this.
Hang on. So I didn't necessarily want to go and debate the whole Renee Good shooting as well, but it is important and it does matter. Sean, obviously you're right that if someone tries to run you over with a car, that is what would justify it. But the question is whether that's what actually happened. And I don't think it's clear. There are multiple different video angles that he was struck. One video appears to show that he was, but others appear to show otherwise. It's all very complicated. And might also, again, without wanting to relitigate this all, he did continue to shoot through the side window at her when she was very clearly not going to hit him.
In 0.7 seconds.
But each instance of the use of lethal force has to be justified. And
That's
I don't
all
know,
considered one instance. That's totally wrong.
each pulling of the trigger has to be legally justified.
I don't think it, like, I don't believe that you can determine whether or not it would be counted as one instance of force or multiple. I think I'm not sure if there's a clear legal standard there that you could easily say which one it falls into.
It's not
That's
just you can
totally
start
wrong.
spraying
It's one
if your
instance.
original
You're
shot
talking
is
about
valid.
0.7 seconds. The court has recognized multiple times that human beings are human beings, and the idea that he's supposed to have this like hyper perception in 0.7 seconds, which is the difference between shot 1 and shot 3, and know that shot 1 was effective enough or shot 2 was effective enough or 3 is absurd. Like
I
again,
do
you
think they're
watch videos
responsible
online.
for every shot that they take with their service weapon, and I don't think these
Again,
people are.
It'll be all three of these shots will be seen the exact same way just because of the length of time between each shot. In extended situations, it might be different. But again, when you're considering whether the shoot is legal and good or not, you're considering a totality of the circumstances, which are the circumstances that lead up to the shoot. It's not just the moment that the car starts moving towards the guy. It's everything leading up to that. They didn't have any violent encounters. The woman didn't display any violent intent. The guy's walking in front of her car and whatever multiple times, so clearly he didn't feel like this was a threat or this
Yeah,
was
when
something
he was
should do.
filming her, she wasn't an issue, but when they tried to get her out of the car and she decided to take off, that's when it became an issue.
Why was
She
he
decided to
filming
take
her?
off. See what you just said there? She decided to take off, not ram him with her car. But
Because her intent doesn't matter. And I don't
Yeah, I would
have to lie in
imagine.
order to
The intent
make my
doesn't-
point.
Yes, her intent doesn't matter.
Like, I don't have to
True.
read
You
her
should be able
mind to
ask her
understand
saying-
that a car that's 2 tons is a serious threat of bodily injury or death.
Then why was he standing in front of the car right after he backed up?
You mean after she squared up to face him?
Why
and
was he
put him
standing
more in
after she
front of the
backed
car?
up? After
He
she
was
backed up,
circling
why
the
was he standing in front of the car?
Well, she's backing up then, and then he starts.
What's up, Deanna? Welcome back. She may have been trying to run him over until she was shot. I like, what do you mean by may? Can I do the P? If by may you mean mere possibility, as in it's logically possible. It's logically possible that you could throw a cup at someone and they would die. But if by may you mean possible as in plausible, I don't think it's like. I think from all the videos we have, it's you know, it seems like that was not her intent.
To drive and then started accelerating.
And he could have just continued to move. He stopped. He would have been out of the way of a car. What was he planning on?
Oh, hindsight with 2020, like you can make that argument, but that's
It's so
not the legal
crazy. I've
standard.
never needed a hindsight. It is the legal standard also, not hindsight
No, it's
2020.
not.
The totality of the
Literally not.
circumstances. The totality of the circumstances is the legal standard, and the totality of the circumstances doesn't make her seem like she's a deadly threat. It's not just at the moment that she starts moving forward.
It's not. Well, again, it's not just a deadly threat. It's a threat of death or serious bodily injury that a reasonable officer with the same information would act in that situation or perceive a deadly or serious bodily injury threat.
Unfortunate thing PISCO has picked up. I mean, I think it's. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I usually like the way PISCO debates, even in those cases. I think sometimes it can be cringe. I mean, so like even in our, I remember in the live and learn conversation, I remember asking him, like what do you think the difference between like abolishing ICE would be and just having a president that just doesn't have the same policy of doing these ICE raids, so there's just less opportunities for any type of confrontation or whatever, and two, getting rid of like everyone Trump hired essentially. And like his answer to that was like, well, first of all, abolishing ICE means that like, you know, the agency like just no longer exists. And it's like, okay, yes, I recognize that. I am like, it's clear I'm talking about like outcomes, like how different would the outcomes be?
The other officers perceive it.
Yeah. Normal people literally never mean logically possible when using moral language. I don't know. When I was talking to Tyler about the Fed losing credibility and what effect that would have on inflation expectations.
The ones that weren't in.
She thought she was above the law and ended up dead. I don't think that she thought she was above the law. I don't think that like she was probably not obeying lawful orders, but that's not really relevant to the self-defense stuff in my opinion.
Weren't in serious danger? The ones that
Like
were
a foot away from him. Yeah.
Moto, not moral, damn.
Why did neither of them seem to perceive this deadly threat? This threat of serious
that
deadly harm?
weren't in front of the car.
The ones that were a foot away from the guy.
That weren't in front of the car.
Well, they could still act to defend their car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they didn't
like, they weren't in front of the
car.
car. Like that's why.
So guys, I want to move us along. I do want to move us along.
How quickly and easily that would have been.
I'm not sure we're going to get to the bottom of it, but ultimately it will continue to be investigated. Maybe there may be a point of agreement on the next question related to this, actually, which is the interesting performance of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem in the aftermath of this shooting. I want to play you a clip of her at a press conference immediately after the shooting of Alex Priddy. Listen to this.
She did, and there is no case that she was not shot in the back. I don't know what you mean by I don't know what you mean, the onion. She did. I'm assuming you mean she did with regards to not obeying lawful orders, because I agree with that. There's no case she was not shot in the back. I agree that she was shot twice through the side window.
U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
So here's what I would say, is that, listen, maybe you think this was a defensive shoot, maybe you think it's justified. I don't, but okay, we could have the discussion. For the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security to get in front of the cameras after an American citizen was just killed by one of her officers, and immediately...
What's the, what's he gonna say here? There's no way he's gonna... I think he might... He might actually disagree with it. I don't... I don't think we're gonna get like a whataboutism to like something Biden lied about or something. I think some people would just go like, oh, what about all the people who lied about Biden's age and covered it up or whatever? I don't think he would do that. I don't know what the play here is.
Based on the fact that he has a gun and ammunition, which millions of people carry every day, suggests that he must have been in some plot. They did also call him a domestic terrorist, again, baselessly, to kill law enforcement, like to go and shoot up and do a mass shooting targeting law enforcement.
Or he was going to say, well, and we have the video of him kicking the car or whatever, which I don't even think we had that video when this came out, but...
It's totally baseless and irresponsible. Sean, I respect that you have a more conservative viewpoint on some of these issues.
He was part of an anti-ICE group.
Not like a Team Red automaton who will just defend anything like some people. Surely you agree that that is unacceptable from the Secretary.
Right. So there's 2 issues with what I had that she said there. First of all, actually 3. 1, we really in this country need... I'm not going to comment on an ongoing investigation to like come back into play because like she says he approached with a firearm, which is like not technically a lie, but is effectively like the biggest lie that you could tell because he didn't have the firearm out. He didn't present it. Like it communicates the wrong information despite technically being true. And then she goes on to imply that he's a mass shooter or he was a potential mass shooter.
Whoa, it's almost like half the shit you say, he also did that. He interfered with the law enforcement operation.
Or he was targeting law
He interfered with the woman getting arrested, like,
enforcement,
bro.
like, to kill law enforcement, maybe not in a mass shooting kind of way, when that's not supported by the evidence. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. If I was planning to do something that terrible as Kristi Noem described, I probably wouldn't wait for me to be on the ground surrounded by 7 law enforcement agents, and then for them to find the gun for me to execute my plot. So yeah, this was absurd. Kristi Noem is an embarrassment. And again, you should not go off like half-cocked with bad information and like deliver messages like this. Because even the part that she said that's technically true in the beginning, like, is a lie because of what she's implying by it.
Yeah, Stephen, when you see Stephen Miller, who shares your name, of course, come out and immediately brand this guy an assassin who tried to kill law enforcement.
If AJW knew Ball, he would say this is less bad than when Dem said about Rittenhouse. Oh, probably.
I mean, I do believe that Trump has the right to enforce federal immigration law, and he was elected on a mass deportation.
I remember watching this earlier today. Sean got most of the underlying facts incorrect. The girl was shoved, not being arrested, etc. Yeah.
But I think we, at bare minimum, deserve some.
But it's not even. I don't even think he's. I think he's just lying. I think he probably knows what happens. Like, I think he's seen the videos. I think he's just he's doing the fucking same thing. He's just intentionally saying stuff that can. Some of them I don't even think are technically true, but like might technically be close to true. That just communicates totally false perception that like he was just some like evil dude trying to make sure all the immigrants get away and blah 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 blah.
Honesty, and not this just blatant brazen lying.
I mean, they've done this with almost every big shooting incident that happened. They did it with the Charlie Kirk shooting as well, where Nancy Mace and other people have literally just come out and started ascribing a whole bunch of stuff to this guy before we even knew who the shooter was. We've seen Kash Patel make crazy statements. We've seen Kristi Noem and Trump make crazy statements. Like, they just want to get ahead of the story so that they can kind of like spin whatever narrative story they can before any of the actual facts come out, or until the next insane thing has happened in 2 other days and we've all moved on from it. So yeah, I mean, it totally undermines credibility from all of our agencies. Like, you can no longer trust almost anything that they put out because you've seen that they're willing to just, like, the head of the agency is willing to come forth and lie, like, blatantly about videos we've all seen. I don't know, am I supposed to trust anything else they put out? I'm not sure.
No, it's a serious problem. I mean, these people are also responsible for national emergencies. For, you know, if there is, God forbid, an attack on the United States, DHS is going to be putting out updates, and I just don't know how we're supposed to take this essentially. And I will say this, Ice Barbie, seriously, right? She dresses up in costumes to go on TV, uniforms, that she's not actually needing to be wearing. She wears them as props on a television set, then goes back to her condo. And I just think she's totally embarrassed the administration, and they can do better, even if you don't agree with their agenda. I mean, surely there's a better advocate for it than this, but they appear to be standing by her. Here's Caroline Levitt.
First question, the answer is yes. He still has confidence and trust in Secretary Noem.
How is that possible, that you could see everything that's going on and still have confidence and trust in Kristi Noem, Sean?
Well, I mean, listen, Trump is also like a backstabber guy who likes to flatter you before he fires you, so that could be the kiss of death for all we know. But yeah, look, you shouldn't have confidence in, like, listen, I've heard the.
Well, wait, what's that one guy actually fired? What's his name? I totally forget his fucking name. Not Bovino, right? Did he actually leave? Hello? Where's Dang. Because I thought that there was a rumor from that I heard on Live and Learn or whatever that he wasn't actually going to leave, but he might have left. Mr. G. Cattle, totally insane to violently shove without intent to arrest. Yeah, it's even if he had, like maybe he had intent to arrest. I kind of doubt it, but like even if he had intent to arrest, why the fuck is that the way you would go about it? But so I think this dude's actually gone. Oh my god, how much bullshit do we have here? He was fully gone as far as I'm aware, back to his private apartment. Okay. And it has access to his social media accounts. What? They're deplatforming him?
Argument for why the right or
I thought Trump would know that after he got deplatformed for January 6th. Why the fuck would they? What the hell?
the government is throwing out these narratives initially, and they say, oh, it's because the left will make their own narrative, a la Michael Brown or whatever, past instance that justifies it. It's just I don't buy it at all. Like, you should not do this, especially if you're the government. Like, let people on the internet that are analyzing the videos, like the Zapruder film, like make their cockamamie theories or whatever. But like, there's a level of like prestige in the government that you.
Also, I love all the AI what's up, Anarch? Nava made it to the big leagues. True. I love all the AI upscaled shit floating around. Oh my god. And I want to say to be fair. You know, like there's some liberal accounts like also posting like an upscaled image of the of him the moment before he shot or whatever. But like I think one, way more of that type of shit on the conservative side, and B, I bet a lot of the conservative people are doing it with like a lot more mal intent. Split was between Gnome / Bovino and Homan. Yeah, they had different approaches to ICE enforcement. Gnome advocated street sweeps. Homan advocated targeted raids. True. AI getting scary. The AI video stuff is, yeah. AI upscale and AI generated are different. As in using, they were using generative AI to like upscale it. Because I think there are like like strictly generative like AI upscale shit, right? It's like NVIDIA DLSS. Is that generative AI technically? I guess it's generating frames, but like some of it's just interpolating frames or whatever, right? Does that count as generative AI?
Government is throwing out these narratives initially, and they say, oh, it's because the left will make their own narrative, a la Michael Brown or whatever, past instance that justifies it. It's just, I don't buy it at all. Like, you should not do this, especially if you're the government. Like, let people on the internet that are analyzing the videos like the Zapruder film, like, make their cockamamie.
Consider the form of generative AI. According to Google Gemini. Utilize a similar AI technology to create new high-quality visual. Yeah, well, okay.
Theories or whatever, but like there's a level of like prestige when you're in the government that you shouldn't do this. So like people say, how do they have confidence? It's just doubling down on your side. Like, our administration does nothing wrong. We have confidence in them, but like as we've seen many times, you can have confidence in somebody up until the moment they're fired.
Yeah. Do you think that's where we're heading? Destiny, is she going to be?
Does it generate new pixels and upscale? DLSS. So DLSS has I forget what they brand it. The DLSS can both generate frames and upscale. I don't know if you can do both at the same time, but you can do, yeah, multi-frame generation. And there's also just the upscaling. But the upscaling is also AI shit. I'm not using AI shit that derogatorily there. I think actually I like DLSS for the most part.
Be the first major firing from the cabinet?
Probably not.
How many times doesn't he have to debate AJW and get his shit pushed in? Then again, maybe he likes that. Probably.
Her through so much other extreme stuff. As long as she can continue to tank everything.
Wait, who are you saying gonna get his shit pushed in? You're saying AJW is getting his shit pushed in, right? I don't think I've ever seen Destiny do poorly in the debate against AJW. I think I've seen him in the debate. Well, I've seen this now. That's he getting smacked. I don't think he got smacked here, and I don't think he got smacked in the other debate. I remember was like a January 6th thing. I feel like he did even worse there.
It feels like they have their fall guy for this now that Bovino or whatever is gone. Yeah, so I mean, she'll probably still be here. And
well, yeah, you mentioned Greg Bovino, and of course he's the chief of Border Patrol. He is apparently being reassigned and no longer going to be in charge of the Minnesota operation. So that does suggest maybe a pivot. But I want to play you this clip of him because I find this extremely bizarre that even now, days after this incident, we still have no idea who the officer involved was. But that is, of course, in part because of the new DHS policy of masking officers and keeping them anonymous. Bovino was asked about that. Listen to this.
Commander Bovino, when it comes to the shooting, from what I understand, there were 2 agents who fired shots. We know one of the agents had 8 years experience, and we know he was a less lethal instructor and had this training. What did the other agents, what was his history, and are they both working right now, or are they on administrative leave?
All agents that were involved in that scene are working, not in Minneapolis, but in other locations. That's for their safety. There's this thing called doxing, and the safety of our employees is very important to us. We're going to keep those employees safe. As far as
there's this thing called doxing.
All agents that were involved in that scene are working, not in Minneapolis, but in other locations. That's for their safety. There's this thing called doxing, and the safety of our employees is very important to us.
I think Destiny is a good debater, usually. Like, I've definitely seen him do poorly in debates. I actually think he's done, for whatever reason, more poorly in recent debates. But I think he's usually a decent debater, at least.
We're going to keep those employees safe. As far as the number of shots, the number of agents involved, that again is going to come out in the investigation.
So it's bizarre to me that these agents are still working. I mean, even if it was a legally justified shooting, they just took someone's life and were involved in a traumatic incident. Even if they're not guilty of anything, they should still probably be on administrative leave while it's investigated. And then I have to say, I understand that they face a lot of threats and intimidation right now.
He's not even debate, he's an ass.
The masks have to come off, right? We cannot have anonymous people roaming the streets and apprehending people and use.
That seems great debating idiots, but when people have above room temp IQ, does ADW have above room temp IQ? I don't know. He gets crushed. I don't think he's ever done like horrible in the debate. I've seen him like struggle against people like SED debates, tax expert or whatever. Like I remember this.
What's missing the
I don't think he did that bad here. Like I don't think he was crushed, but like he's talking to someone who like knows more than him, and I don't think he does particularly well. I'm trying to think of other cases where I think he's done poorly, but I can't like. There's not one that comes to mind where I think he just got like totally crushed. He struggled in the K-pop debate. Is that a meme? This?
At that table, they were glaring at me.
I think I am the final boss of the K-pop. Okay, everyone's really excited for this one, okay?
Maybe, I don't know.
Using lethal force against citizens and we don't even know who they are. Sure, they face threats and they should be prosecuted by the FBI, to the fullest extent of the law, anybody who tries to harass or threaten their family or anything like that. But we ask judges, we ask politicians, we ask everyday law enforcement, all to be identifiable by badge number, by public name. And it's part of the job, unfortunately, as it may be. I mean, even as public figures, we get stalkers, we get people sending things to our address, we get doxxed. And yet, for some reason, they seem to think it's okay to have ICE officers and other DHS officials just running around masked and anonymous. Sean, do you support that or do you agree that that's a problem?
Look, I understand why they have the masks. Obviously, ICE agents and their family members have been targeted in the past by these left-wing activists, but I generally agree with you. Like, American civilian law enforcement, you're supposed to know who they are when they're operating out in the field, and, like, yeah, we should prosecute.
I see the problem. You don't understand what a debate is, and not just an opinion. Okay.
People that are exposing their friends and family and
the officer was clapping too as Peretti was getting shot. No, I haven't seen that, Luke Davis, but welcome to the stream.
Targeting them in all those kind of ways that they were doing in the first Trump administration, but that doesn't mean that they should be anonymous enforcers. Again, like it's very rare circumstances where your law enforcement does this, usually where they're going up against gang members or they're undercover, but then they're also participating in a raid that you don't see their faces. And like every single operation related to immigration is the opposite of very rare circumstances. As far as the paid administrative leave thing, I mean, that's why we have paid administrative leave. Like even if this is the cleanest shooting, which, it is a messy shooting, but even if it's the cleanest shooting that you absolutely could have, like firing your weapon at a human being and taking their life is something that you need some time off for. Usually you're supposed to see a psychologist or something of the sort. So again, I agree that they should be there. I mean,
I agree. I think every member of ICE should see a psychologist, actually.
I could be wrong.
It's better that they're moved out of Minneapolis than in Minneapolis, but like we have paid administrative leave for a reason, and we give a ton of money to Border Patrol and ICE in the big beautiful bill so that we should have enough people that these guys could take some time off.
Stephen, do you think they might behave a little differently if their faces were on camera? I do wonder, that's just natural human psychology, that they might be quicker to shove a woman indefensibly or to escalate situations when they're hiding behind these bandanas that are not even official masks. So what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, probably, yeah. You mask people up and they can act crazy sometimes, yeah. I mean, we should know.
Go watch Stephen Fry debate at Harvard. I don't think Destiny has done many like formal style debates, and I actually think he like the ones he has done, he does like worse in relative to the sort of regular content he does. But like I don't think he did particularly good with his debate against Lila Rose. His second one that was like more formal. I think he did really good. I don't fully agree with his justification, but I think he did really good on the 2v1 that he had on the whatever podcast. Do you know who he is? No. I was about to look him up. Oh, yeah, I know who this is. This is a troll. Wait, it's not gotta be. Fuck. No shot. No shot. I can't even. Does he have?
Dublin to Oxford as the.
He has like old debates at Harvard.
Greatest Hellenist, the greatest arid inherited doctrine.
Stephen Vanell versus Destiny. That's a debate. Yeah, I want to see. Didn't you see he debated himself on free speech or whatever?
All that going for it. Not me. I would urge you to think
What's
of
up?
yourselves.
I'm just gonna say H.
Merely as citizens.
What do you think Destiny did wrong in the Lila Rose debate? Which one? So the first one, I think he did very well rhetorically, and I kind of mostly agree with the justification. I think he did well in that one. And the second one, I think biting the bullet on some of the I wasn't even biting the bullet, but like the shit about like strictly speaking, like legally the 9-month abortion stuff should be legal. I disagree with him on that, and I don't think that rhetorically he defended that well. I'm trying to remember back to exactly what I had issues with. Part of the issue, by the way, was just with the format. I think Destiny would have done a lot better if the format was less bad. This format was so cringe.
Reasonable and unintuitive.
I thought he had a good. I remember thinking he had a good opening statement.
Memory that you had was about 20 weeks in the womb, and you couldn't possibly remember being a single-celled zygote without the capacity for any kind of sensory input or any kind of memory at all. Would that change your mind on it at all, or no?
No, I don't think memory is what gives me value as a human being or legal protection. I mean, when someone gets Alzheimer's, very tragically, my grandmother towards the end of her life suffered from dementia. It wasn't clear if it was full-on Alzheimer's or memory.
Chance of miscarriage be banned from trying to conceive?
No.
Oh, I remember this. I don't think this line of argument. I think this is stupid. This might work in a longer debate, actually, but
So even if it was 50%,
I think you should just focus on the personhood issue. I think that's where, and the religious thing. I think in this opening statement he mentioned like, she tries to have like a secular justification for it, but it's all just like a mask for the fundamentally religious argument, because the real position is that Lila Rose doesn't believe in abortion because she thinks that people are ensouled at conception and it's murder to kill that soul, that God wants to exist or whatever. Like that's the real reason. But, and because she, not just that, but also there's more like deeper like family values, anti-sexual revolution ties to all of it too. Like she thinks abortion just promotes. I always fuck up the pronunciation. Promiscuity. Don't clip that. You get what I'm saying?
And somehow that was completely wrong for decades, hundreds of years even now. Then I'd look at Alzheimer's and eugenicists, that if you are a carrier for some genetic abnormality that could lead to the death of a future child, short-lived life, or they have a severe disability, somehow they should not be able to conceive and procreate. And I would say no, every life has value and should have legal protection regardless of how long they live, how developed they are or not developed, or how dependent.
Again, some of this is a format, but like most abortion debates, the pro-lifer Lila Rose here will like constantly obfuscate and equivocate between life, human, person. Horrible. What do you think about abortion, non-fun? I am like generally pro-abortion up until whenever like sentience is, and I don't have a super strong position on that, but I don't think there's a good case to be made that it would ever be before 12 weeks from what I've seen, and it's probably not till after that.
that have miscarriages, do you think that there should be some kind of an investigation to make sure that that miscarriage wasn't
No,
induced?
I don't. His brain and doesn't have consciousness and you're old because she no longer wants to be pregnant, there's no severe health issues or anything, that should be legally permitted in this country.
I would say it's immoral, but it should be legally protected.
Okay, do you think a baby at 9 months old?
Yeah, I like this shit. I don't know. Some of it was just a format too. The fact that they had like an opening statement and then like 10 minutes of back and forth or whatever. Then like they gave closings and like took fucking questions and it was stupid. We did get appearance from Micah Knuckle. Oh, where is he? Bro, I saw him. Where was he? I think it was like the first. Oh, there he is.
Just because of how the mother they're pregnant, but
Destiny, how does your view of specifically
this dude was on Jubilee, and I've spoken to him before. I actually talked to him about abortion for a little bit. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah. like a while ago during
Like
the Trump
very-
stream. You can see more of my opinions about abortion in this debate.
Who they are. I think everything's been said on this. I agree. It's just
If the state can provide everything a child needs, would you be for banning abortion? No. No, I don't think my justification for it rests at all on like the sort of outcome to the child in the sense that like, oh, we need to abort children because, or like women should have the choice to abort children because they're in circumstances where having a child would lead to the child having a bad life and the mother having a worse life as well, like a more stressful life or whatever. Like, I don't think that's super relevant to my general justification, which is that personhood, like, I think has to have a mental component to it. I could see like, I think there would be like strictly consequential grounds for like banning abortion in some like hypothetical world, maybe if we like truly had artificial wombs or whatever, and like people just lived generally positive lives, which I think people now live generally positive lives. It's like I've like said this before, but like in the burning hospital, like, would you save the fucking 5 fetuses or 5 zygotes or whatever, or the 1 toddler or whatever? Like, I actually don't think it's crazy, and I think I would save the 5 zygotes, not because I believe zygotes have any innate moral value or like are persons. I don't, but I do think that like creating 5 future happy people is, assuming they're gonna actually be created and be happy, because obviously not all like IVF zygote stuff goes to like actually is used. That's why pro-life people don't like it, because they discard embryos. Like, I think it's probably better to save, or you're saving future people, which is a little weird to say. You're not saving an individual person yet, because I don't think the person exists there, but you're creating 5 future happy people as opposed to saving 1 currently existing person. I think there's a pretty strong case to be made that you should save the 5 future people.
The administration is just acting in the most divisive and aggressive way possible. Like, if Trump cared at all, and Republicans don't care about illegal immigration because it's a faux issue to them. They just throw it up whenever they want to like make voters mad about a thing. But you can tell with the way that they approach it that they don't actually care about it as an issue. The voters don't seem to care much about it as an issue, aside from things to vote on. Because like, imagine trying to explain to a European friend, so ICE is mass deployed right now doing immigration enforcement, and they're like, oh, that must be where, like in Texas or California, or no, up in Minnesota. Why? Like, the per capita numbers don't make sense, the absolute numbers don't make sense, because a cognitively impaired Republican kid, made a stupid video where 90% of the information was fake, and they decided to just go mass deployment of ICE to the state for just no reason.
Sean, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, you can look by the numbers. The per capita rates of people removed from Texas and Florida are significantly higher than in blue states, and the reason for this is because you have state and local coordination. Like, Destiny talks about how, oh, the Republicans don't care about illegal immigration or any of this. In reality, the Democrats are actively benefiting off of this conflict. That's why they don't work with the feds. That's why they encourage people to go out there.
But they're not people, and you would let a child burn and feel all pain? Yeah, but I'm like, you're creating 5 future happy people, and presumably, like, 1 child dying and feeling pain would not be as much suffering as, like, the joy created both of the 5 future people themselves and of all the people they affect.
That's why they tell their voters consistently.
Unless you assume one of the fucking babies is Hitler or some shit.
That they're not legitimate law enforcement. That's why you'll see on social media all these people saying, oh, well, ICE can't arrest you because they're not a general law enforcement agency, even though they absolutely can arrest you for obstructing their operations, just like any law enforcement agency could do so, because they want these conflicts to fester. I mean, Tim Walz after this compared, like, I guess, I don't know who he's comparing to, but Minnesotans to Anne Frank, which again implies that ICE is the Nazis. And spoiler alert, if you were in the times of Anne Frank and you had to deal with Nazi soldiers, you would be justified to kill those soldiers. So this is what is being stoked up by these comparisons, because they want this conflict. Like, they benefit from it politically, and it's the biggest distraction for somebody like Tim Walz, who doesn't have to deal with the consequences of Nick Shirley's video, which of course Stephen had to mischaracterize.
Well, let's not litigate that. Let's not litigate that. That'd be another episode.
I want to say, listening out, there's ever heard me say crazy things about Republicans in the past. This is why I don't think that it's worth it for Walz to take like the ultra kind position and to say, oh, there should be no violence in protest, because people like Sean and all the other Republicans
No shit, that's a weird way to look at it.
will constantly mischaracterize.
I think it might not fit most people's like first emotional intuition, but I don't know. Like, I don't see any reason why. Like, I would have to. I don't see any reason to strongly discount at least like the future happiness of people, even if they don't currently exist.
Every single thing they say.
If it was your kid, well, so like, if it was my kid, one, I don't believe in his argument, but you could make an argument for special obligations existing, and like, I don't agree with that. But like, that would be something that's not actually relevant to the sort of claim I'm making, which is that you should also, weigh the value of future people. And you know, there are at least cases where creating more future people would be better than saving a currently existing person. You know, if it was my kid, I don't believe in special obligations, but you could believe in special obligations and believe that you still have if it wasn't your child, that you should save the 5 future people, right? Those two claims aren't necessarily incompatible, although I do disagree with the special obligations claim.
Both the mayor and the governor of Minneapolis and of Minnesota, respectively, have been unequivocally telling people, do not do illegal things, do not obstruct, don't riot, don't break stuff, like be peaceful, record people, maintain a distance. Like they've been unequivocal in their messaging there. And you still have
do not do illegal things, but they're kind of like the Nazis. I don't know if you guys know that.
Do you agree that the Nazi rhetoric
the problem is
escalates
you've lost all your moral high ground when you're taking videos and selling merchandise in front of Alligator Alcatraz. You can't conduct yourself in that manner and go, man, I wonder why Americans are so opposed to our form of deportations. If Donald Trump wanted to, Donald Trump could have said, here's what we're doing. We're going to every single prison in the state, and if you've done a violent misdemeanor or any felony, we're deporting you. He could have made that announcement, and every blue governor, blue mayor, everybody would look like such a loser trying to oppose Trump on that initiative. Because how are you going to protect literal rapists and criminals and everything in your states and cities? But instead, they do the most divisive, most aggressive, most disgusting AI image, AI video, Alligator Alcatraz, selling merchandise, laughing about it, joking about it. I mean, like, what do you expect? Of course, is what's going to happen.
Worse than that, Stephen. They sent people to. For a long time, I was very critical of sanctuary cities, and I still think it's a problematic policy. But at the same time, when you do have the federal government like sending people to dystopian El Salvadorian prisons without due process, I can kind of understand, Sean, why local authorities wouldn't just become.
What's the play gonna be here? What's the play gonna be here?
Turning human beings over to them or working with them closely.
Because he can't. I don't think he's not gonna say. He can't say like sanctuary cities are like actually illegal or anything. Or I think he's gonna make up some bullshit about Democrats being divisive by doing it.
They weren't working with them prior to that. Like prior to sending, and they were sending Venezuelans to El Salvador because Venezuela was refusing to take their own citizens back. Like there was a reason for
none
it.
of that justifies.
That's not what. That doesn't matter. His issue was not sending them to a place that wasn't their home country. It was sending them to a fucking prison torture camp without due process.
Send people to, for a long time, I was very critical of sanctuary cities, and I still think it's a problematic policy. But at the same time, when you do have the federal government like sending people to dystopian El Salvadorian prisons without due process, I can kind of understand, Sean, why local authorities wouldn't just be comfortable turning human beings over to them or working with them closely.
What's up, Jim Tollins? Welcome back. This admin is making Brad support sanctuary cities. Damn.
I mean, they weren't working with them.
Well, in this context,
prior to that.
That's not surprising.
Prior to sending, and they were sending Venezuelans to El Salvador because Venezuela was refusing to take their own citizens back. Like there was a reason for it.
None of that justifies.
Also, to be clear, that's a lie. I called this out before. Now I've been completely vindicated on the fact that we literally deposed Maduro in a military operation. To say the United States of America couldn't force Venezuela to take back some people is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my
This is actually how they did it, because they started taking back people when their citizens started getting sent to El Salvador. So like, yeah, we could do it. Like this was the method that they did do it.
No, you would just tell them and you would just do it. The idea that the U.S. lacked the power here is hilariously naive.
Okay.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate both of you for participating in it, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Real quick, what's Brad been up to? Latest Candace Owens drama is absolutely unhinged. I just don't believe this. Creepy TikTok star Jeffrey Marsh hits new unhinged low. I 100% agree with this Democrat for once. Oh no, John Fetterman's in the thumbnail. No, wait.
Quote, I remember.
I completely agree with John Fetterman for one.
Having
the truth.
I don't actually think this is about John Fetterman, is it?
Bleeding by Can.
Okay, it's a little slop stuff.
And you have no right to critique how people resist.
What? Yes, I do.
Whoa.
Officers, because you know what I was just thinking, or fight them, because that's actually a very bad idea and only puts some people in more danger. But go off, Jeffrey.
Risk. I love you. I admire you. I'm grateful for you. When things get deadly serious.
Bro is maximizing the thumbnail faces right now.
Very serious. It's important to remember that you're not alone. That there are so many.
This is literally what my. This is literally.
Very serious. It's important to remember.
My fucking. When I make thumbnail faces, like I have videos of myself just making faces that I use for thumbnails. This is fucking what it looks like.
Care about equity, human dignity, about lifting humanity. I admire you. I truly, truly.
Oh man, it just seems like an irresponsible way to weigh in on an annual subscription. Yeah,
you won't get abuse.
Oh my god, she's literally comparing, telling people not to mess with.
Okay, incredible. Whatever. All right. What's up north? You guys catch the Powell party? It was funny today. North, you missed the slop. Wine? I mean, he's gay. He is gay. He is gay, right? I don't actually. I'm pretty sure he is gay. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not making it up. Okay. I'm right. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure. No, I have wine. Oh no. Oh, I thought you were talking about the dude we were just watching who had wine. The Brad Palumbo dude. Thought you waited for the stream to end to take pics of yourself with the most interesting facial expressions. Well, kind of. Usually I like when I'm making a thumbnail, it's usually for a video I'm editing pretty soon after I end the stream, and I'm like, oh, I don't really have, enough faces for this, or I don't have a face that matches the exact emotion, so I like take more. Or I just want, I'm like, oh, I've used me in this outfit too many times. I want to have a different outfit on. Why is I got a YouTube, oh, there it is, bookmark thing. Not as good as I would like it to be. I need to find one. I don't think this exists, but that just lets me jump between bookmarks with a, without having to open the pop-up here, or without having to, like, skim the bottom. I need a hotkey.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask that, you attended the Supreme Court hearing last week on the Lisa Cook case, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized that as political. Can you say why you attended and what you would say in response to the Secretary's criticism?
So let me start with, I don't respond to comments by other officials, whoever they may be. It's just not appropriate to do that. I will tell you why I attended. I would say that that case is...
I'm going to drink wine and make spicy ramen with an egg on top, and then play... Stellaris, is that how you pronounce that? And write my manifesto.
The most important legal case in the Fed's 113-year
School shooter origin.
As I thought of that, I thought it might be hard to explain why I didn't attend. In addition, Paul Volcker went to a Supreme Court case famously in, I guess, 1985 or so. So it's precedented, and I thought it was an appropriate thing, and I did it.
Right, and then just quickly...
Powell, my goat.
The job market, you mentioned last month that the household survey might be distorted, and you also mentioned the potential for overcounting
the
jobs.
data disruption stuff. This, you're gonna notice a pattern here. So notice the answer to that last question. Oh, I mean, he gave a bit of an answer. He said, I don't comment on stuff other officials say, but like it's precedented, and I thought it was important. This part is fucking hilarious. I love this.
Nick Timrose, The Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, you've generally avoided engaging with political controversies directly, and the video statement on January 11th was a departure. What made this different, and are you concerned it could draw the institution further into political debates?
So today on, I'm simply going to refer you to the statement that I made on January 11th. I'm not going to expand on it or repeat it. So I'm just not going to, this is really about the press conference and the economy and what we did today, but in some ancillary areas, I'm not going to be getting into that.
Can you say whether the Fed has responded to the subpoenas?
I have nothing for you on that today.
Mike.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio TV. Have you made a decision on whether you would remain as a governor of the Federal Reserve? And if so, would you tell us what it is? And if not, when might we anticipate a decision?
No, and I really, once again, have nothing for you on that today either.
Why would you want to leave it all under the circumstances?
Again, I don't want to get into this. Not something I'm. There's a time and place for these questions, but not something I'm going to be getting into today. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire Jones, Financial Times. Thanks a lot for taking my questions. And another one that might, lead to a similar answer. We've seen quite big movements in the dollar over recent days. What do you think is driving the US currency lower? And have you been at all concerned just by the extent of the volatility we've seen this week? Thank you.
So, Claire, as you probably know, we don't comment on the dollar. Really, the administration.
It's like that one's not even about the political stuff, but it's crazy. I love Powell so much. First of all, the decision to, well, actually, firstly, all the attempts to avoid conflict before the actual, subpoenas and probe into him, right? Like all the, the fact, like in every previous press conference, you'll see him saying the same fucking shit about, I don't really want to comment on that. I don't really, that's inappropriate. All of that shit. And then when he comes under fucking real attack, actually being brave enough to stand up and make a video finally. And he's had it's funny that I say funny. It's unfortunate, but it's also it's interesting that he's had like a really good like law firm like on retainer for like 2 years to defend him in the case of something like this happening. And I mean, he mentioned like showing up to Lisa Cook's hearing as well. I understand why they don't, and I understand like the Fed is in a especially kind of unique position given both the importance that it is independent and the sort of more leeway with independence that leeway is a weird word. The more independence it has been granted historically, right? You know, it's not like Fed independence has always been like, even from court rulings like this in this administration, like the Fed has been kind of carved out from a lot of the rulings about independent, how much power the executive branch has over independent agencies. But like, I wish the head of the BLS, for example, when she was fired, right, like made a similar statement. Even if she didn't sue or anything, which I don't think she probably didn't have a case to sue. Unfortunately, like, I wish she would have written an op-ed a little sooner. She did eventually write like an op-ed talking a little bit about it, but we should try to publicize these things, I think. And Powell was goated for doing so. And then answers a bunch of boring economy questions. I did like the oh my god.
Has the effects of tariffs already moved through the economy on prices?
A lot of it has. So basically, there are many different estimates, and they're all highly uncertain. But most of the overrun in goods prices is from tariffs, and that's actually good news, because if it weren't from tariffs, it might mean it's from demand, and you know that's a hard problem to solve. We do think tariffs.
Oh wait, so I totally forgot the other thing. The other thing I was going to mention there, just like the difference between him doing that versus Donald Trump himself and everyone around him, like even Scott Bassett, who constantly will shit on Powell, who constantly just lie about him. It's like, it's crazy the difference in character there. North, why are you sending foot pics in my Discord server? What's going on there?
Are likely to.
I'm not even going to show it on stream. I'm not going to let them know what actually is.
Maybe a one-time price increase. So most of the overshoot, if you were to take that out, you get, and you would, I mean, inflation, core PCE inflation is running just a bit above 2%, x the effects of tariffs on goods. And the other good news is, if you look away from goods and look at services, you do see ongoing disinflation in all the categories of services. So that's a healthy development. So that's what's going on. The expectation is that we will see the effects of tariffs flowing through goods prices, peaking, and then starting to come down, assuming there are no new major tariff increases that are begun. And that's what we expect to see over the course of this year. If we see that, if we see that, that will be something that tells us that we can lose some policy. Also, if we see something that suggests that the labor market is not stabilizing, that in fact the downside risks to reemerge or the data just get worse, we'd have to look at both of those. We have a two-sided mandate.
If I could, if President Trump does pick a new Fed chairman before May, what does that look like? How would you work with that person, and what does that transition period look like?
I don't have anything for you on that. That will depend on Congress's actions and things I can't speculate on.
Howard Schneider with Reuters. Thank you for taking our questions. Given the changes in the statement and all you've said so far, is it fair to?
Yeah. Boring econ stuff. What's going on there? Lame.
Elizabeth. Thanks so much, Elizabeth Schulze with ABC News. A Republican Senator Tom Tillis, who sits on the Senate Banking Committee, said he will block any Fed nominee, including the chair, until this investigation into you is resolved. Do you support this move by the senator, and what conversations have you had with the senator?
I've got nothing for you on that.
More broadly,
he flavored a ramen packets at $3 for a six-pack is a recession indicator.
American households if the Federal Reserve loses its ability to operate independent from politics.
So really, the point of independence is not to protect policymakers or anything like that. It just is that every advanced economy democracy in the world has come around to this common practice. It's just an institutional arrangement that has served the people well, and that is to have a separation between to not have direct elected official control over the setting of monetary policy. And the reason is that monetary policy can be used, through an election cycle to affect the economy in a way that will be politically worthwhile. So this isn't, I'm not talking about the U.S. context. This is every advanced economy democracy of any size. So it's a good practice. It's pretty much everywhere among countries that look at all like the United States. And I think if you lose that, it's first of all, it will be hard to restore the credibility of the institution if people lose their faith that we're making decisions, only on the basis of our assessment of what's best for everyone, for the wide public, rather than trying to benefit one group or another. If you lose that, it's going to be hard to retain it. And we haven't lost it. I don't believe we will. I certainly hope we won't. But it's very important. And the reason it's important is that it's enabled central banks generally not to be perfect, but to serve the public well.
You're confident it can maintain that
so
at this point?
Yes. I mean, I'm strongly committed to that, and so are my colleagues.
Archie.
Archie Hall from The Economist. On that sort of stabilization of the labour market question, how much do you see the weakening we saw in the past 6 months, a year, as a kind of data mirage around immigration, government shutdown, and so on, that's now resolved, or how much we see a kind of real underlying climbing up in the state of the labour market, do you think?
Well, part of it is, to your point, part of it just is that labour supply growth.
This was a interesting answer. I'd like to see Powell talk about this.
growth in labor supply has.
Well, I'm trying to pull up something
essentially a halt
else for this as well.
Fast, clip of growth over the last couple of years, driven by immigration, and then the halt being driven by a very sudden.
Can't wait for them to have 5 failed attempts at indicting him. Yeah,
immigration. So many outcomes were possible with that.
By the way, did you guys see there was if you look at like the poly market Fed chair odds, there's like a huge spike in that BlackRock dude. Looks like it's down a bit. If I go to like 6 hours here, I guess more than that a day here. More than that. Wait, when was the fucking big spike? Like a little bit ago, I guess. The Rick Ryder guy, like a big spike, and supposedly there might have been some insider trading there. He's still the front runner, but not by much anymore. And I think, by the way, Kevin Warsh, the guy who's in second right now, he dissented, right? The Fed held rates steady. But I think Kevin Warsh dissented for a rate cut. Why is only... Despite 2 dissents, I believe it was Myron and Warsh. Insider trading on poly market? No way. Donald Trump? Insider trading? Or probably not him himself, but you know, people in the administration? Insider trading? On poly market? What? What? Which, who knows if this is, you know, actually, there were 2 dissents in different directions. Governor Stuart Myron wanted to lower rates more aggressively by 50 basis points, which is, oh my god. What's up, Gavin? Welcome back. That's like almost totally unjustifiable. You might be able to have, I mean, that's probably not as unjustifiable as what Trump wants to do and have them between 1% and 2%. But I don't know if there's a Taylor rule with any reasonable input that would get you to a 50 basis point cut right now. But they very well could actually both be dissenting. I think Myron definitely kind of is, but just to try to be more in Trump's favor for the Federal Reserve Chairman position. Well, what's up, Gavin? Are PISCO and HUTCH having drama since the stream? Not necessarily PISCO and HUTCH directly. It's not been, I mean, it's not been crazy or anything. I'm just kind of memeing about it since I don't give a fuck. But a lot of people are talking about, the heated conversation they had on Live and Learn. Wicket like talked about it. You know, like a whole like call-in show about it. Hutch even called into that. Obviously, all the I'm trying to think of a non-derogatory term. I'm just gonna say primarily drama streamers, like Justical and Queeman, like watched it and talked about it. Yeah.
You know, supply came way down. It turns out that demand for labor also came down.
Hutch was going nuts. They were both pretty heated.
Just a little bit more, which is why the unemployment rate has gone up. So I don't know whether that's a coincidence or not, but that's what's happened.
On Fun and Live and Learn, it was goated. This is true. Glad that happened. Me too. As clowns. Hey, actually, I watched it. I watched a little bit of it. Queeman was nice to me. Okay, Queeman said we're chill. So
with that part, but if you look at other,
Justical said that he thought I was a kill all tankies liberal, which I will take as a compliment.
things like, for example, just to pick a couple, the Conference Board's measure of job availability that came out, I don't know, was it yesterday or today? But, it shows, it's a survey showing that workers feel like job availability is a very low reading. Just one reading, but it's an indication of softening. People, part-time for economic reasons, which is a category within the broader U6 category measure, has moved up significantly. So there are lots of, I could go on.
We're going to keep getting track. Not actually pay attention to the important thing here, but Hutch fans got mad at me for saying his channel was botted. I don't think Hutch's channel is botted. If you're thinking his sub count is botted, Gavin, that'd be because he used to make gaming content and like made gaming content for years and years and years, which is why he has like 800,000 subs, but it doesn't get that many viewers because he, from my understanding, essentially for a while he just like entirely quit making stuff on YouTube and only like recently started streaming and uploading there again. I think like last year.
Places that suggest that the labor market has softened. But you're right, part of payroll job softening is that both the supply and demand for labor has come down. Growth in those two have come down. So that makes it a difficult time to read the labor market. So imagine they both came down a lot to the point where there is no job growth. Is that full employment? In a sense, it is. If demand and supply are in balance, you could say that's full employment. At the same time, do we really feel like that's a maximum employment economy? It's a very challenging and quite unusual situation.
Thanks. And then one more.
True. Didn't quite touch on some of his stuff. Like there's a lot of issues with the immigration and job numbers right now. Both with regard to people like JD Vance and Trump and people in just general Twitter dipshit people will constantly lie about the job growth to native-born citizens versus immigrants, foreign-born citizens, or not foreign-born people, not all immigrant citizens, because they don't understand how population controls works in the survey, and it actually just represents immigrants and foreign-born people responding to surveys less often, probably because Trump is using a lot of data that isn't ordinarily used to deport immigrants to try to deport immigrants. And that artificially inflates the employment levels for native-born citizens. What's up, Rainield? Kill me. I saw you on Live and Learn, I imagine.
On growth and the kind of strong growth outlook, or strengthening growth outlook you're now seeing, how much of that is the fiscal stimulus?
Last two little things here.
The
Powell party. Holy big leagues, of course.
That is.
Thank you, Chair Powell. Jennifer Schonberger with Yahoo Finance. With third quarter GDP growing at 4.4% and the fourth quarter expected to have a 5 handle on it as to what the Atlanta Fed is predicting, at a time when you had a government shutdown and we thought that was going to shave off some growth, you've also got the fiscal tailwinds. You've talked about big tax refunds coming, potential tariff dividend. How could you cut rates and not spur inflation in that environment?
Well, we didn't cut rates today.
Tell PISCO I love him.
But
I still actually, aren't you friends with PISCO on Discord, Rainield? And I'm not even. I think, oh shit, thanks for the sub, Bone to Doom.
Are you Fort Bend hospice fraud or Minneapolis daycare fraud?
I'm for sure Minneapolis daycare fraud. For sure. Actually, me, for real. That's my spirit animal. Yes, I'm goated, yeah.
It depends on how fast potential output is growing, right? I'm just asking in principle. I'm not saying this is what's happening.
Again, it's just so, I mean, like, he had said, any of Trump's advisors or anyone around him have asked a remotely similar question about Powell or whatever, right? Would they taken an unbelievable, the opportunity to lie about Powell, to dunk on him, to say, oh, this fucking, Powell's putting us in a shitty position, oh, I'm Scott Bessent, I'm Secretary of Treasury, I can't believe Powell's keeping interest rates high and making the debt interest payments higher. Powell coded, gives a technical answer, refuses to answer any of the direct political questions. So good, man. Only a wild non-fond of Live and Learn and Rainield, who recently fought Destiny. I remember when they were going raging tomato panels together. They grew up so fast. This is true. Yo, who is it going crazy on Vote Blue no matter who? When? On Live and Learn? On Live and Learn, they all do that. I'll live and learn.
But there's growth, and there's how fast the potential is growing. And at a time of high productivity growth, potential output is rising. So it really matters whether potential output is growing as fast as actual output. And it would matter over time. The numbers you cite were for quarters, and quarterly GDP is, you need to look at 12 months because quarterly GDP can be very lumpy. GDP was negative in the first quarter last year. So the overall, over the year, the numbers were nothing like that. It was more in the mid-twos for the year.
And how do you explain the divide right now between strong economic growth and the job market? Is it productivity that's filling the gap? And is productivity being driven by AI at this point?
So there has been, you're right, there has been a divide of solid growth, but what looked like a weakening labor market. And that can be explained by rising productivity. But I would say we do see signs of, certainly of the unemployment rate stabilizing. So it may be we're seeing the beginning of the resolution of those two things. Also, as you probably know, the lore is that when GDP and the labor market get into an argument, in the end, the labor market data is more reliable. GDP data is just very hard to collect and understand. But nonetheless, I think we may be seeing that tension resolving a little bit. Too soon to say with any confidence, though.
Matt,
Matt Egan with CNN.
Okay, there's a last thing.
You have 2 meetings left as Fed chair. You've obviously experienced a lot during your time as Fed chair, served under multiple presidents. I'm wondering what advice you have for whoever your successor might be.
Honestly, I'd say a couple of things. One is, stay out of elected politics. Don't get pulled into elected politics. Don't do it. And
I'm sure Stephen Myron will take it very seriously.
Another is that, our window into democratic accountability is Congress. And it's not a passive burden for us to go to Congress and talk to people. It's an affirmative, regular obligation. If you want democratic legitimacy, you earn it by your interactions with our elected overseers. And so it's something you need to work hard at, and I have worked hard at it. So, and the last thing is, it's easy to criticize government institutions so many ways. I will tell whoever it is, you're about to meet the most qualified group of people you not only have ever worked with.
Again, just imagine, there's no world where Steve Bessent, where Kevin Hassett, where any of these fuckers are asked a question analogous to this for their positions. Especially if it was like, to make it really analogous, it'd have to be like Biden or Kamala Harris just won the 2028 election and they're talking about, who comes next after that or whatever. Like, there's just no world where
you will ever work with.
Have this technical of an answer, be this polite.
And not everybody's perfect, but there isn't a better cadre of professionals more dedicated to the public well-being than work at the Fed.
Thanks for that answer.
The fucking last standing true public servant, okay? That's too far, okay? There's plenty of them out there.
As I'm sure you've noticed, gold and silver prices have experienced historic gains of late.
Okay, I don't care about the gold and silver stuff. Oh my god. I totally forgot what the fuck I was gonna mention. Fuck. I'm gonna bring something up. I totally forgot. Whatever. We also got the fucking Trump account speech today. Let's go.
All employers all across America to follow the lead of many of these amazing companies and make matching Trump account contributions to benefit for the American worker, and they're going to benefit the American worker so much. This morning, I'm also pleased to announce that Visa is creating a brand new platform which will allow credit card holders to deposit their cashback rewards directly into Trump accounts. That's a big deal. Visa, thank you.
I have to imagine there's some rubbing shoulders, there's some weird deal behind the scenes going on here. Or like maybe they're just doing it because they think it'll buy them favor later. I have to imagine there's some wacky shit happening there. I don't like why why what the fuck is in it for them other than being in favor of Trump? Can't wait for my Trump-based payment processor, my new Trump phone. Dude, the Trump phone still hasn't come out, or didn't they promise it like the end of last year or whatever? The Trump phone is also just a fucking scam.
Visa. Thank you very much, Visa. These initiatives could not come at a better moment because there's never been a better time to invest in the United States of America than right now. Who knew it?
The latest reports indicating a tentative release date of Q1 2026, originally promised for August 2025. Like, yeah, like the Trump phone is also just a fucking scam, bro. Like,
would have happened this fast? I inherited a mess. We were a country that was laughed at.
Like, literally, Powell will never say this shit.
A year and a half ago.
I'm saying it was triggering.
We were left at. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Nobody.
And Trump's just bringing it up out of fucking nowhere.
Initiatives could not.
Like, Powell's getting asked questions where he has the clearest opportunity to shit on Trump. Okay, the people there want him to shit on Trump, and he won't do it.
A moment because there's never been a better time to invest in the United States of America than right now. Who knew it would have happened this fast?
True.
I inherited a mess. We were a country that was laughed at a year and a half ago.
It's not a scam just because I haven't got to my phone yet. I don't think it's ever coming, bro.
Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Nobody even close. So, who knew this was going to take place this quickly? And real start in life. And that's why decades from now, I believe the Trump accounts will be remembered as one of the most transformative policy innovations of all time. And I've done a lot of them. The tax cuts, we've done a lot of them, more than I think anybody. And I think this is going to be one of the most outstanding.
Like it's all just fucking meme shit. And I haven't read this yet. Apparently this fucking website they made is just like a lie, which is not surprising. I think if you I thought they had a calculator thing. And you could see like it actually it doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, like contributing $200,000 a year, or you would contributing $0 a year, you get $200,000 by the time you're 55. Why do you only get $192,000 if you're contributing $250 a year? What do we? $5,000 a year, you get $2.7 million. Doesn't really make sense. The Trump phones will be out in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think they've been saying that for a while, Dylan. I know that that fucking YouTube Shorts, Carter PCs. Okay, he comes up with my YouTube Shorts sometimes. He has I think he ordered the Trump phone. It has not come yet. We'll see. We'll see. Like, almost certainly like a lie. And this is, they used the fucking meme. It has to be intentional. They used the meme brain rot AI voice for this explainer thing.
The new child savings program rolling out in 2026. These are tax advantage investment accounts created for kids under 18.
Like, this is
who are U.S. citizens.
I fucking heard this voice in Instagram Reels before. Like,
with a social security number. Every eligible child gets a $1,000 seed deposit from the federal government. No action required, except you have to open the account. You enroll by making an election on IRS Form 4547 when you file your taxes or through the online Trump Accounts portal once available. Once established, the account is invested and grows tax deferred over time, similar to a traditional IRA.
Step one, make a Trump account. Step two, question mark, step three, profit.
18.
I know.
It's grow by contributing up to $5,000 per year. And
obviously the numbers are not accurate, but like we already have for retirement, like Roth IRAs and stuff, and like just Roth IRA calculator. So let's just look at age 55, contributing $5,000 a year. You have 2.7 million. I don't even think, I'm pretty sure with a Roth IRA you can get close to that. It might not be that high because, again, I think it's just absurd fucking numbers. You start at fucking zero, right?
The account is invested in 547 through the online Trump Accounts portal once available. Once established, the account is invested and grows tax deferred over time, similar to a traditional.
Because you can withdraw your 18. So how old are you? Zero. Contributed $5,000 annually. 55. Expected rate of return. Well, let's do 75%. Calculate. 2.9 million. Yeah, it's like they invested in DJT. Yeah, like obviously, I don't know exactly who is in charge of the accounts that they are investing in. You know, the assets they're investing in, but
similar to a traditional,
you know,
IRA until your child turns 18.
Do we trust them? Do we trust them to not rent seek, to not be corrupt?
You can help it grow by contributing up to $5,000 per year, and even employers or family can contribute too. Funds can be accessed without penalty when the child turns 18 for qualified expenses, like education, a first home purchase, or starting a business to jumpstart the American dream.
Like, I don't know, maybe I should read more about it now that they're actually doing it or whatever, but it's just such a weird, it's just like such a weird thing. People that have had ideas for fucking like baby bonds and shit before. Like the idea of a like tax advantage account that you can invest in for your child or whatever, and they can withdraw at 18 or whatever. It's not that great. Like there are similar proposals, but it's just like there's so many like weird, like you could like they mentioned like the qualifying purchases. So many weird like
anti-sock slop fun is best fun.
Like for the $2, Shapringo, welcome in. This is true. This is true. I think there's just like a fucking ton of administration within this shit. Also, it's crazy that they named them Trump accounts. Yo! Wait, did it just repeat the same thing instead of doing the trumpets? Oh, there we go. I presume gifted membership. Here we go.
No, silly.
Okay, hold on. Trump accounts, tax foundation. I thought they had a thing on it. I think they just said they want a universal tax-free savings account, or tax advantage at least savings account, which would, I think, be good. Something for the resub. Trump accounts are structurally similar to Roth IRAs, but with additional restrictions, including inability to access funds until age 18. Parents looking to set up an account for the child's education. A 592 account offers more flexibility and tax benefits. As such, Trump accounts do not offer much of an additional incentive to save. Rather, the main benefit is to form a $1,000 initial deposit from the federal government, and whatever employers choose to contribute. Perhaps Trump accounts might encourage young, I'm fawning out, face, young beneficiaries to engage in more money management than the otherwise would. Presumably they mean they otherwise would, if not saving per se. Hold on, is it doing all the alerts twice? It just did. It just played those alerts twice, right? I'm not crazy. Oh, what's that? Yeah, it's like you get taxed on withdrawals unless it's for the weird qualifying events. Withdrawal made after age 18 with tax preference for expenditures that fall under IRA early withdrawal. It is. You're not the only one I've seen with that issue. Yeah, I don't know what the hell it's doing there. I try just refreshing the alert box, but I kind of doubt it's going to do anything.
Republicans are delivering bigger paychecks, bigger tax returns, and bigger 2026.
What the hell is... He said you were making a ramen of egg north. I did not... You're just eating it out of the fucking pot. Based, I guess. All right. Hold on, let's test this. God, the alerts are rather long. Good night, South Rama. I appreciate you stopping by. Not a big deal, fun man. Just see your GP. You'll take 5 pills, so and the issue will likely go away. This is true. I feel like that was way longer than it usually is. The alert duration is only supposed to be 6 seconds, right? Or no, the membership's set to 30 seconds. Never mind. Didn't do it twice then when I just tested it. Maybe I fixed it. I don't know. Forgot the egg. Good. Eggs cause a lot of chicken suffering. Don't you know? Goddamn. You know, I guess with the Roth IRA though, you can't get your Visa cash back deposited in there. Is that I mean, since it compounds, maybe it's meaningful in the context of a savings account like that, but I get like when I get cash back, it's like fucking 10 cents at a time. I think I have like gotten one day I got lucky, I got like $3 in cash back, but like that's it really. I don't know, maybe it would have compounded to fucking $20 or some shit if I put it in a tax advantage savings account. But probably overcooked it with my massive fawngasm. Okay. Fawngasm. Really? We're stupid at this now. Okay, this is a AI piece about it. Last year's One Big Beautiful Bill Act introduced new tax-preferred accounts, which congressional Republicans, that's not ostensibly, how do I pronounce? Obsequiously dubbed Trump accounts. A government website provides useful information about the new accounts. Unfortunately, the website also presents the Trump administration's grossly exaggerated projections of the accounts' payoffs. Can we make fawngasm an emote? I don't know what... I like that idea. I don't know what the actual picture would be. Might have to go through some of my thumbnail faces, and one of them could be construed as a fawngasm. Under the new law, the government will make a $1,000 contribution to a Trump account for each U.S. citizen born in 2025 through 2028. The website projects the website projects that the $1,000 government contribution at birth will grow to $200,000 at age 55, with a caveat: actual results may differ and are not guaranteed. The administration has presented similar projections in a Council of Economic Advisors report and in a speech by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The administration's projections greatly overstate the account's likely payoff. They fail to adjust for inflation based and taxes based, and they rely on unduly optimistic assumptions about future U.S. stock returns based. The projection is inexplicitly fail to adjust for inflation. What matters is not how many dollars will be in the account at the future date, but what the account holder will be able to buy with those dollars. With 2.4% annual inflation, as projected by the Social Security trustees, a $1.55 years from now will buy goods and services that are worth 27 cents today. The administration projected $200,000 account balance would therefore only have $54,000 of buying power in today's prices. Credit cards are the best way to build credit. I don't even think, I mean, yeah. Okay, cashback options make purchasing cheaper for intelligent users, and Darwin's Law, the rest, true. I don't think, does cashback, wait, I mean, I get cashback on my debit card, and that doesn't build credit history, does it? Taxes are also absent from the projections. Because there were no after-tax private contributions to the account in the administration's examples, the funds would be fully taxable when withdrawn. If the account holder was in the relatively low 12% federal income tax bracket and a 4% state income tax bracket, taxes would reduce the inflation-adjusted payoff from $54,000 to $46,000. Furthermore, the administration's projection of a $200,000 account balance at age 55 relies on unduly optimistic assumptions. The administration assumes that future U.S. annual stock returns will be slightly above 10%, in line with returns in recent decades. Although extrapolating from historical experience may seem reasonable at first glance, it is unwarranted in its context. I don't mean, maybe I thought stock returns were closer to 6% in the long run. You get an entry level CC, Silly Bear? Yeah, I'm just talking about, I don't like, not like disagreeing. I just don't. I don't know the connection. I was just simply saying, like, in my experience, the cash back that I get is so minuscule that, like, it would have no meaningful impact on it, even though it compounds. Due to the U.S. stock market's elevated valuation, market analysts expect future returns to be significantly lower than past returns. I mean, that seems like a... Oh, Buffett indicator. I mean... I'm not sure the accuracy of it. Honestly, I don't know. I'd be skeptical. Morningstar's Kristen Benz warned last week that assuming a continuation of historical returns might lead to some overly rosy forecast. She observed that 6 major investment firms' forecast of annual U.S. stock returns over the next decade range from 3.1 to 6.7%. Oh, the number. Oh. I'm proposing a better alternative than giving government more control over our dollars. But that's not. But the point of the Trump account is not to build credit history. It's to give money to your child when they turn 18 or when they are 55. And I don't know why they chose 55, because that's most people are not retiring at 55. So, or give them at 55 for whatever reason. Video's not even there. Unfortunate. Oh, there we go. Longer-term forecasts are less common, but they feature similar numbers. Benz noted that of the 6 firms forecasting 4.4 to 6.4% returns over the next 30 years, and that a 7th firm is forecasting 5.4% returns over the next 20 years. Assuming a more realistic rate of return has dramatic implications. With 6.7% annual returns at the upper end of the firm's forecast, $1,000 would grow only to $35,000 over 55 years. After adjusting for inflation and taxes, as described above, the after-tax buying power in today's dollars would be a mere $8,000. There's ample room for debate about the exact values that should be assumed for inflation, tax rates, and stock returns. Under any reasonable assumptions, however, the after-tax inflation-adjusted account balance, the economically relevant measure of the payoff from holding $1,000 in a Trump account for 55 years, would be far below $200,000. Scott Bessent recently said Trump accounts will instill financial literacy in America's youth. How? In a way no book, test, or school curriculum ever could. They will do so by providing students with a hands-on education. It's not hands-on. You're managing the funds for them. A Roth IRA is more hands-on. Like, you can, you have some control over what your Roth IRA goes into, right? I don't think you have any control over what they put us into. Can't you? Because, like, I could be wrong. Different firms, like, will put your Roth IRA in, like, different shit, right? There's probably some legal restrictions, but yeah, like, you can choose to invest in a company. Yeah. Like, this is more hands-on than the Trump account. Most people are not going to be actually picking what they invest into, really, and that's probably smart of them. And, like, this is showing, like, you get to choose between some different risk preferences. And different firms, different banks will probably have different things that they do as well. So you can shop around between different, banks to choose where you want your Roth IRA. And then you can choose from different plans they have. And then you can, if you really want to, I think, choose specific stocks and stuff. Maybe so. However, financial literacy also requires understanding of inflation and taxes and a realistic potential returns, realistic view of potential returns. These elements are missing from the administration's projections. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. Also, did the dollar? How did the dollar do after Daddy Powell today? I actually don't know what happened after he spoke. Are you talking foreign exchange? Weaker dollar, that hurts my ability to fund chasm. Thanks, dear leader. True. Dollar versus euro. Oh shit. That's January 18th. Hold on, one day. I mean, that's not that substantial of a movement from day to day. I think the speech was at 2 p.m. on the 28th, I believe. I went up for a bit and then peaked at 7:30 p.m. and started going down. But it's not like not that crazy. I think you've probably seen bigger swings in the last year. Yo, Isaac, thanks for the resub.
Had to resub so I could use my own emote non-fun Isaac.
Valid. You guys can't exclamation point Discord in the chat, by the way, just so you guys know. Not that I won't take your guys' money and Isaac's money, but you can also use the stream room chat in the Discord server and send all the emotes for free in there. And there's even more emotes, I believe. Yeah, there's more emotes. Plus, you can send emotes from anywhere. I can send emotes from, Loanerbox's server. Here's MAGA Loanerbox. Whoa. I can make more Discord in the chat. And I should have told these people. There's some people who joined after the Live and Learn stuff when I shouted myself out and said I was down to have some conversations on healthcare. I guess they would probably, hopefully they would see that I'm streaming. I told them they could call in if they wanted to. Speaking of that, probably last thing for today. But there are things that just like... I'm going to talk about this, but only the fun stuff. None of the drama slop, okay? Because who gives a fuck about that shit?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, what's up?
I don't know. I watched, actually, I did watch the video, okay? And it was, you didn't really talk a lot other than like the beginning.
What video? Did you watch the whole thing or did you watch the just like the clip that everyone reacted to?
I watched like
the thing that Destiny watched.
No, I watched like an hour and a half. I haven't finished it, but also it's just a 5-person podcast, so it's hard to.
Yeah, I didn't talk that much. I talked a decent amount at the beginning because they were asking me questions, and then I like had a little bit of back and forth with the people about ICE, and then like when Hutch and PISCO were getting into it. That's not even. That's not my. I don't really have a particularly strong opinions there. Okay, so I didn't really intervene much, and also, I mean, they were pretty heated at moments. it's like
it was so fun. I'm listening to this and I'm like, not fun. Just knowing in the back of my head that you're just in the background of the conversation because I'm listening to the audio, right? Because I'm driving, and all I'm just thinking about the entire time is just not fun. Just in the background during this. But not to push you. Okay, then maybe I won't push you out. You usually didn't have a strong opinion on it. I was going to ask you about that because there,
like
there was.
Well, what specific part do you want to ask about? I don't have like strong opinions, but I have intuitions and stuff. But
the only confusing part that not the confusing part, but the only part that like stuck out to me and like irked me, but irked me was like, I don't know if you remember I don't remember the exact wording, but he asked a question and he was like, do you think it's a fair characterization that people say Hutch attacks, what is it, leftists that attack Trump? And I remember Hutch was trying to fight on the framing of it. And PISCO got, the way he responded to Hutch trying to fight on the framing was it was weird to listen to.
I remember I tried to, there was a point where I tried to intervene because I think eventually Hutch got what he was saying. But like, I didn't. I tried to like do an analogy. So at least what I understand PISCO to be saying is like it's analogous to what I think people view as like kind of an issue with like effective altruism or whatever. It's like, oh, you donate 10% of your money to charity because you think that's really important, but like really you should be donating 50%, 100% because your life is clearly so much better and your dollar like has just much higher like marginal utility. But it's more like it's kind of better to view it as like a question of well doing the charity has like high expected value, obviously, like that's just a good thing to do, and then it's a question of does like attacking people who are doing substantially more than most people but still not technically doing it to the point of like marginal utility, like does that have a positive effect? Because obviously if people see that even people who give 10% of their income, for example, to charity, like if they're being attacked for doing so because they're not giving enough, that probably discourages people from even giving 10%, right? Like that's what I think is analogous to the like the framing of like PISCO like saying, oh, do you understand like the characterization or the claim that people make against Hutch is that he's doing something negative for the Democrats by attacking people on the left. Like that's negative expected value. Like, yeah.
Where do you you didn't really respond to it much, maybe because there wasn't room because they were just heated at each other. Where do you land? I know you said you only have strong intuitions, but where do your strong intuitions lead you?
I don't even know where strong intuitions. So I said in there, it's not
You said you said one of my favorite lines. You said one of my favorite lines where you're like, I don't have a strong position other than leftists have bad policy. That was maybe the best line.
I just want to talk about healthcare. I just wanted to talk about inequality. I just wanted to talk about econ, bro. I thought I was coming in to talk about econ. Okay, what the fuck? Anyway, but yeah, I think like I did say, and I still think it's probably the case. It's not clear to me that Hassan like cost votes, net votes for Democrats. I think like I could see that being the case for sure, but I also think it's probably the case that a lot of people who watch Hassan probably would not be engaging much in politics
otherwise
if it weren't for Hassan, and he probably gets more people to be like generally left leaning, and there might be a decent number. I don't know how many people like this there are honestly, but there might be a decent number of people who are just like generally progressive, might even call themselves socialists, but like kind of just care about like a lot of SOC Dem issues that they support Democrats on, and therefore like voting for Democrats, and they otherwise wouldn't be voting at all if it weren't for Hassan. And I think for they talked a lot about Kyle Kalinske, and I don't know a ton about Kyle.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, I didn't even know who that was.
I know who it is. I'm aware of him, and I've seen some of his stuff. I don't know. I kind of don't know how you would measure this or whatever, but I think it's probably the case. Like if you look at Kyle Kalinske, like he has his tweets go relatively viral quite a bit, and I wonder if it's like a like 80% of the people who see Kyle Kalinske tweet like don't even know who he is, and like just see like debased like anti-Trump shit, and like aren't actually attached to him and aren't like voting for who he endorses or whatever. Because if that's the case, then even if he tells the 20% of his remaining audience who is attached to him to vote for fucking Jill Stein, then it still might be net positive for Democrats. But I don't know. I don't know for sure if that's the case for Kyle Kalinske, and I think Kyle Kalinske would be the person who that's most likely with because he goes viral all the time for the anti-Trump memes that he makes.
I mean, Kyle Kalinske is effectively just kind of like a left-wing populist podcaster.
Yeah.
Wait, is he Pod Save America? I know that one.
No.
Fuck.
No, Pod Save America is mostly former Obama admin people. At least at the core of Pod Save America. I think some of their subsidiaries are kind of in that same realm, but still generally progressive, generally pro-Obama. But I've actually been watching Pod Save America for a while. They're pretty good.
Kyle Kalinski's never like had a political position or anything, has he? Like, has he ever? He's not. I know he's definitely never been like a politician, but has he ever worked for
pretty much all the same policy positions as a average party bro?
Well, I know that. I'm just saying, like, has he ever worked for a campaign or like done shit like that before? Like, he actually been employed in politics, or is he has he just been employed as a commentator?
Not that I know of. I think he's just a commentator.
But yeah. So I don't know. I could see it going either way, but I would lean towards a lot of those people being like net votes for Democrats. No, I think like and this goes to like sort of I think so much as like the whatever compromises you want to make with the far left or whatever as well. I think you should try to fight on policy issues, both to one, make people more in favor of voting for Democrats, and two, to like make it so any compromises you have to make are just like less severe. Like if you could, you know, I'm trying to think of a policy that would work with. I'm struggling. Like I mean, if you could convince people that like, you know, sort of the like unions can have mixed results when you account for like everything, because they probably are good for the workers that are in them. Then like, you know, that makes it less likely that as any sort of compromise with the left flank or whatever, you're going to have to like grant unions like substantial protection, like the type of like the policy that the progressive victory people want, which was like every publicly traded company has to have a union. Like, you know, you're never going to get close to that as a compromise if they move off of that position. I don't know how realistic that is, though, but.
I generally like the idea of working with leftists who are generally pro like democracy and electoral politics.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the very least, like you have like the same like idea of what frame you're working in, but any like tanky or like anti-electoral, pro-revolutionary fucking lefty, they're delusional and they're not useful.
Yeah, I mean, the thing Hutch was attacked for is being, some people attack him for or whatever, is that like even attacking tankies, they say, or whatever, or at least some far left people that he might classify as tankies are still dividing the left and like negative for Democrats. But I don't know how. I don't know how you how to measure
I
that.
think tankies are like, I feel like they're an even like smaller percentage of what the left is. So I'd kind of just take the left to be like pretty much anyone who's like sock dem onward.
Mm-hmm.
So like that just encompasses mostly like still pretty pro electoral individuals, and then you've got like the hyper online tankies who still watch like Caleb Maupin or whatnot, wherever the fuck all those people were.
Yeah. Well, why are you asking me, Isaac? Are you sweeping for Hassan? Are you
Whoa,
Houthi supporter, terrorist?
No, I have a stronger position.
Dog zapper.
I can't. Now that you know these, people, I will not say my actual opinion on this publicly. Okay, I'll talk to you in Murray. I'll talk to you on February 9th.
He's an Ayatollah supporter, actually. He's pro Iran.
I think the way I think the way a lot of those questions were framed, I think say a lot more than the questions themselves. But you actually know these people, so I'm gonna stay calm. No, don't just we'll talk. We'll talk in February on the 9th. I think there was some I think the way stuff was framed was antagonistically framed.
I mean, I think PISCO was like implying stuff. Like it's weird to like ask.
All right, okay, let's do it then.
Without
I think it's weird.
Imply stuff, but yeah.
I think it's weird. Like if me and you were arguing, right? This is how I'm thinking about it. He went into it very antagonistically in a way that like I don't think normal people would if you're like friends with the guy. At least that's what I was getting at. Like here, let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever they had a framing of that question where he was like, you attack. Is it? I want to know the exact wording so I don't say words for other people. But it was like, do you agree or do you understand when people view you, they have the view, or when leftists view, they have the view that you attack. You constantly attack, leftists that attack Trump, right? Or something like that. And Hutch was trying to fight on the frame. He's like, I think I just attack leftists in general. Like, I think and he wouldn't let that framing of the question up, which is, I would have to go back and get like exact wording. But whenever they fought on that, it was so weird. Like, if me and you were arguing, and I was like, do you think, like that exact thing, do you think that, if I'm like, isn't it weird, non-fun, that you tend to comment under posts of women who like Trump, and you're like, well, I think I just comment under posts of women, and I'm like, yeah, but don't you think it's weird that you comment under posts? And it's like, if you like, I obviously this is a meme, but I feel like it's so weird to just try to stick on that framing, which I don't know much about Hutch though. I'd have to like look into like the posts he's fighting with people under. But anytime I see Hutch fighting with people online, they're never like attacking Trump. They're usually attacking Democrats, and he's usually fighting them on that. But I mean, I got Twitter pulled up. I can go look and see like the most recent times he's fought with people. I know Sean the Black is one I usually see.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was weird to try to frame it as that leftists had a track, or I guess the point is that these leftists
because I found the thing. The phrasing was Hutch spends too much time. I think shitting on, it's censored in the captions, or attacking whatever on lefties who are going after Trump. That's the accusation, and then the accusation from Hutch is you guys don't actually care about Trump. Hold on, that might have been Soyfield saying that. I'm trying to find the original fucking allegation for it. But yeah, continue about the.
I guess there's two weird parts. First, is the point that these leftists sometimes attack Trump, and therefore they should be like, we shouldn't spend time attacking them, or is the question of like, why are you attacking leftists while they're attacked? Like, okay, how do I explain this better? Jesus, it's been too long since I've argued online. I've been so free from politics. It's been nice. I guess I don't understand if the question's either saying that because people on the left, like leftists, are attacking Trump, should they be immune from criticisms, or you shouldn't criticism in the current time when they are attacking Trump, and you're free to criticize them later.
I don't know how much you would generalize it. So I think he would just say the accusation is, at least the way and the people that Hutch does criticize, is negative for Democrats because the lefties are like also shitting on Trump. And because people mentioned like there's opportunity cost or whatever, like anytime he's just on a leftist, like he could be making a video about Trump or whatever. I think, I don't know if PISCO mentioned that, but people mentioned that as well.
Sorry, I'm just gonna be scrolling. I'm scrolling on Sean the Black Twitter, the one he fought with a lot. I'm seeing how long I have to scroll before he attacks a Republican.
Yeah, I've not watched this live and learn debate, so I've got no clue. I've got a clean.
Sure, I mean he's still doing the fence.
He said like twice. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I'm sure he just flattered him a little bit.
Trump?
No, Walls.
Trump's a pussy, dude.
Walls.
You get him on the phone,
Yeah.
he seems to back down. Just like in Europe.
This isn't the
last
first
week,
time. And it's not the first time to
Yeah, just that entire segment, it's so weird to me. But I guess I'm more weird in like the personal sense of like, if me and you were arguing, I'm like never. It's like it felt like they were arguing from like a Republican and a liberal more than like two liberals on a podcast just trying to get to a common ground. It felt so weird to listen to.
They're buddies. They argue a lot. Like I don't think they usually get that heated, but that's a semi-normal dynamic. This is my understanding. I stopped watching Live and Learn after Okonoboy left, but
Did you apply to take the spot as Okonoboy's like child, as mini Okonoboy?
No, because I don't.
Did you not make a single mini Okonoboy joke?
We have an Okonoboy at home.
When I was there, I don't think I was the first one I brought it up. I think I said because I think Pisco brought up or whatever. I remember saying I talk about economics from a liberal perspective, and someone was like, Okonoboy used to talk about economics from social perspective or whatever.
True.
Oh yeah, it was Pisco who jokingly introduced himself saying, I'm Okonoboy and I talk about economics from a socialist perspective. I think I said I was Okonoboy orbiter. Yeah, I said I'm non-fond famed Okonoboy orbiter.
The last Okonoboy orbiter.
True. Last one standing. Econo child, this is true.
The Econo proteges become the Econo master.
One day.
Yeah. Has anyone kept up with the protests in Iran?
Not a ton. Not since they were like in the actual news. I don't actually know what happened afterwards. I saw like the poly market, peak at like 64% chance that Khomeini like was removed or whatever, and I honestly do not know what the fuck has happened since then.
The last thing I remember is Trump true socialing that help is on the way, and then help, I don't remember it ever landed.
Nope, help didn't land, and about a few, like tens of thousands of people got massacred instead.
Yeah, that's crazy. As the president, to say help is on the way to like protesters who are actively risking their lives, like I have to assume there's a pretty big amount of people who wouldn't have naturally like kept protesting in fear of their life, who decided to keep protesting because they were like, well, the president of the United States said help is on the way. Surely help is on the way.
Yeah, now a lot of them are dead probably because of that.
Yeah.
I feel like that does not sit really well with me at all.
I guess I'll add it to the list of things. Yeah, I guess I'll add it to the list of horrible things.
I don't know. I just feel pretty disgusted by Kilimani doing all that, but at the same time, help is on the way. Public post, by the way. And to do nothing is, yeah.
Well, how do you know it wasn't the military generals committing insurrection by not listening to his True Social post? Okay, you tell me.
True. What if they were just trying to not follow the legal orders? Of course.
The Democrats' fault, exactly.
True. You're right.
Oh, what's up,
yeah. How can we make this
What?
Nancy Pelosi's fault?
Yeah. Exactly. Welcome back over to K. What is the HUTCH, I'm assuming you mean, / PISCO disagreement, and where do you stand? I'm surprised you haven't seen it come to the K. We were just talking about it. Basically, actually, I don't even know if PISCO's like actual position, because he said it was just elaborating what like the allegation against HUTCH is and not taking a strong stance on it necessarily. The like allegation against HUTCH or whatever is that he spends too much time shitting on people on the left, or like punching left when those people are still anti-Trump. Like they spend a lot of time talking about whether Kyle Kalinske and Hassan would like net Democrat voters, or whether they would decrease Democrat voters. And I don't have super strong opinions on it, which you can see if you watch the Live and Learn episode.
Yeah, today you're going to live and learn about the PISCO and HUTCH drama.
I was waiting for the shrimp argument to come up next. I was waiting.
Oh yeah, I should have brought it up. Damn.
Oh yeah, no, I mentioned it to. I didn't mention it to someone because someone called you based, and then in response, I was like, "Don't forget this." And then we talked about how stupid of a position that is. OP left. Like everyone is gone. I need everyone to go follow. I can't even make that joke. I haven't. Oh,
I'm here. I unplugged, replugged my mic because apparently it's supposedly crackling or something. So
it's not to find out on this side.
Discord might have noise suppression.
True.
Current position is not stupid, inaccurate.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it's. I don't think it's stupid until you connect it to the bug position, and both of those that are going at the same time.
You don't have to buy into the bug position. You don't have to be convinced of the bug position.
No, I'm just saying you defend the bug position. So defending the bug position and the shrimp position seems interesting.
Wait, shrimps are just sea bugs though, so like
that's true.
That's just
well, I think any logic you apply to his bug argument definitely applies to shrimp, but it also applies to 99% of animals in the wild. That's the problem with that argument.
Wait, what the insect argument does, or the
any argument like that you apply to your bug should be genocided would apply to most animals. Why? Because they live net negative. Because non-farm believes if an animal lives net negative lives, we should, in our best interest, genocide them all so they don't have to live net negative lives.
True. The thing with insects is like their population is so large. That's why it's a big concern, and that a lot of animals do this. But I forget the name for the type of breeding they do or whatever, where they like lay a million.
You're talking about the difference between quality over quantity breeding. Like one
basically
child that you care for or a million, and you hope like 5% make it. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, a lot of animals do that, but like there are animals that don't.
You think shrimp don't do that? You think shrimp are taking one child for how many shrimp there are?
I think I also think we should reduce the population of wild shrimp.
What about all? What do you think? Do you think we should genocide them, not just reduce?
Non-fun be like one shrimp policy, but for shrimp, one child.
Like genocide them is a little is weird. Like so the only position basically, or like the only thing I'm saying is like I think there are like we can at least say like it's generally good to reduce wild animal populations, and like that can take the form of just like building a fucking Walmart, and like that just reduces the habitat for wild animals. It's not like we have to go out and kill a bunch of people. I do think we should do that to whales. I support whaling, but
what?
because
suffering per pound, easy. If you feed so many people, less suffer. I got you.
No, because it's because whales.
Oh no, not because of that. Shrimp.
Yeah, so whales eat like shrimp. Yeah, some of them eat shrimp, but they eat like shrimp, and they also eat krill or whatever. And they but they don't actually reduce the population of fish and shrimp and krill because they like shit out nitrogen, and that nitrogen is like food for the stuff that fish and shrimp eat. So they actually like increase or keep stable the population of
the amount of shrimp suffering in the world goes up because of whales.
Yeah, exactly. There's infinite shrimp suffering machines. They eat shrimp and then they shit out shrimp food, so there's more shrimp, so they can fucking eat them again.
I hope we have a conversation with Maya one day.
Or dude, that'd be so funny.
You would be like, it's a position. It's like a joking position. It's not a serious position, It's just a thought I've had.
I mean,
and then
Maya
2 hours later,
asked me to donate to her conservation part of her charity. I would not donate to that, but
Wow. What about the bringing the wolves back?
That's even worse.
Oh Jesus Christ!
That's not just keeping areas wild. That's rewilding. That's fucking making more predators to go kill a bunch of poor little rabbits.
How about domesticating raccoons?
True.
That sounds goated.
You're probably before that because the net life of the raccoon would probably increase.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's probably a line of thought you can get non-fun to agree that we should be training dogs to drive. We should have courses because the net life of a dog would increase if it could drive.
I mean, there's like a shelter or like company or something that like literally did teach dogs to drive in a attempt to like get them adopted to like make viral videos about their shelter. Like we've kind of already done that. It's like were trying to...
Non-fun's the type of person to like ponder the moral like dilemma of if you gave a mouse a cookie.
Yeah, he does probably. That is true.
Non-fun would you eat meat that came from a living cow that was extracted without pain? I don't think there'd be anything morally wrong with it. I do think that like it typically, like if you're on a diet, it's kind of easier to just kind of stick to the rules of the diet and not kind of make these weird exceptions for it. So like that's why I probably would not do it, but I don't think it would be immoral. If like lab-grown meat was like super prevalent, then I would be okay with it. I just think it in a context where it's not super prevalent, like like eating lab-grown meat would probably increase my temptation to eat real meat. Would you suck milk directly from the udder? Probably not. Even if I didn't view someone to practice.
What if we find you a goth woman? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It naturally follows non-fun.
Mm-hmm.
It naturally follows. That's crazy.
I won't finish that question.
Oh. No, I got what you're putting down. I mean, those aren't udders, really. Those are.
Yeah, can I get the like logical argument for that, please, Isaac?
Well, it would be so he wants to reduce harm, and it would not have to. Basically, I understand not drinking cow milk, right? But if let's say we found him a nice goth woman, okay, and maybe it's a net positive for how she feels,
if it was
depending on how non-fun it is, how much skill non-fun has.
So you're trying to find a goth woman with a lactation fetish.
Vampire Hunter.
I think not. I guess actually, yeah, for non-fun, and then he can drink milk again.
I mean, listen, it would obviously be net utility increase because of the. I would
Exactly
just derive an immense amount of utility from doing that.
Oh,
so
you would derive a
obviously-
lot of utility from that. Let me tell you.
Did I don't think I told you that the girl I reply guy to on Twitter, she did not agree with my whale take, bro. She hated the whale take.
Oh no!
Wait, you published the whale take?
No, I DM'd it.
It's over.
Oh, okay. I was like, bro, you gotta keep that on. You're gonna get shot. You're gonna fucking.
Yeah, it was in DMs. Don't worry.
It's fucking over.
I need to make a notepad of your worst takes. The whales should be killed. We need to genocide the bugs and build more Walmarts.
Non-fun headline. I fumbled a girl because I said we should genocide whales. Ask me
Genocid's a
anything.
harsh word. I just think we should, well.
He hates the word genocide, even though it's exactly what he's trying to say. He just doesn't like
in the context of whales,
the intuition.
It might be more accurate.
Yeah, you're just significantly culling
really...
the population and limiting the space that they take up. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a German guy did this, and I don't know what they called it. I don't remember.
I don't think that building a new suburb is genociding the animals, but I do think it reduces the future wild animal population.
Well, if your intent
it's not just
is
one suburb.
Also, your intent is to directly limit that population, right? I mean, your intent's to limit the population. You're taking hostile action
to destroy.
And it's never just one suburb either. No one ever says you're genociding some population just because you bombed in area once. Okay.
Well, yeah, sure. I'm just saying genocide usually implies you're kind of actively killing these people instead of just reducing their future population by reducing the amount of space they have. It's I feel like that's usually the.
I think there's been a few genocides you can categorize as reducing their population, I think that's, I mean, I'm not a whole leftist now, but isn't that the exact argument for Israel and Palestine is that they're reducing the amount of space, reducing the population?
Yeah.
I actually have a way better one, the Uyghur genocide.
Yeah, the Uyghur.
Moving them out of their homes.
We have any Turks in here? What about the Armenian
camps?
Well, that's usually people say that's a cultural genocide or whatever. Not a.
Oh, sorry. So, he wants to split hairs now that we're talking about bugs. Oh, I got you. Yeah. We can call it a culture.
Yeah, but it displaces people out of their homes. Forces them.
Non-fun cares about definitions when we start getting into the bug genocide. I understand now.
I just think the intuition most people get from the word genocide is not the same thing as not rewilding an area or not giving to conservation charities or building new cities to destroy the wild animal population.
I feel like one of those is a way more active step than the others.
Well, I think the last one's the most active. But I mean, I think I told Isaac about this at least. The fucking a town near me. I don't technically live in a town, but the incorporated town closest to me has a fucking bee friendly board or whatever, and they're trying to make our community a bee community, and they're planting a bunch of flowers everywhere to try to increase the wild insect population. It's horrible.
Yeah, if you're allergic to pollen, don't live wherever that is.
Pollen's actually so bad in this state.
It's really bad.
Oh my! Cars become green, bro, when it's pollen season. Oh my god! The first year I was here, I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, speaking of reducing the insect population, cars have actually been super good at doing that.
Yeah, non-fun ones higher gas emissions instead of less.
No, not even just the gas emissions, more cars. Just more cars.
We've already reduced the insect population by 70% or something.
I thought it was close to 90.
He views that as good work, soldier.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why you don't see a lot of bugs on the windshields anymore.
Non-fun on his weekend singularly.
If you kill him, that's a genocide. I don't think that's accurate.
Truth nuke.
True.
Oh, what is the plan, non-fun, for the 9th? Or is it's the 9th, right? Yeah.
No, it's the 4th.
It's the 4th.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the plan?
I would assume we're basically going to do the same thing.
Oh, we're not going to do I know you had the table. We could bring the table.
Oh, well, I guess I was planning on, I'll bring that.
I was wondering, do we need I assume you've got to have a permit, right? I don't know, though. I've never looked into this.
I don't know.
Because I think college has got to be like a free speech thing, right? You got to be able to, you got to be protected there.
Yeah, so usually people do get a permit. Like even a permit sounds too formal. I know like Cam Higbee, like kind of does the same thing. Where they just have like a shitty table and shit, and then I'll have like
Okay,
a
I
whole
just looked it
setup or
up.
whatever.
Okay, this is Google AI, so obviously we can trust it with our life. But as long as it's not like a private university, there's usually a reasonable time and place manners restriction. Unless like there's usually specific outdoor areas where you have to get permit. I think this is like stadiums, like walkways. But other than that, it does seem pretty laissez-faire about how it goes about.
Yeah. I think like, especially in the context of there being an event there previously, people are not really gonna care.
I just have the fear of we set this table up and then we're just sitting at this table and no one talks to it and we just have to do a podcast for 3 hours.
That'd be good.
That's the only fear I have.
I know other streamers going there, like even more streamers going there this time. I know Andrew is going there. I know Corbin is going there. Ethan is going there again.
Oh yeah, I remember Ethan. Okay, I was trying to remember who we were talking about.
Yeah, I don't know for sure anyone else going, but I know Micah is not going, unfortunately.
No soy pill again.
No, soy pill quit UFA.
I know, we talked.
Oh yeah.
I still love that clip of mine where we're talking and they go, "You guys be dead?" I was like, I'm more of an Atriarch fan these days. This content is so good. Not to. That's the only thing I think we got to have like a backup plan.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can talk to the other liberals there, and I'm friends with all of them in Discord, so I can message them and stuff too. I also messaged like the head of the like TPUSA person there. He left me on red though.
I thought I was like that'd be like banger idea.
Yeah, so he's like, you know, on Fucking America, they're following like the Myron Gaines shit that's going there, right? So I think TPUSA is like they're the ones that like collaborated with Myron Gaines to set up the Myron Gaines fucking debate shit for feminism or whatever he's debating. I DM'd the president there. I said, "Yo, what's good?" And like he replied, and I shot him my idea, and he left me on scene. So I don't know.
You get texted like, "Hey, I think you forgot to yeah, you got to hit him with the ha. I think I think you forgot to respond to this. Ha ha ha."
He's just running from the debate. Clearly,
true.
Straight pussy shit. They claim to be saving men, but he's a pussy.
I can't wait to do more IRL events this year with non-fawn and then still get snubbed for non-fawn ally of the year when I am the only one. Do you know how far I'm driving? Okay, to help out here.
It's true.
I am non-fawn's only. I'm like non-fawn's Secret Service. Okay, if anyone were to attack non-fawn, I would die for this man.
Isaac, I will help the campaign if that helps.
We need it.
I'm pledging my allegiance right now.
Would you give your life for me?
Depends on how many shrimp I could save.
True. What if he's paid like $5 non-fun it to not help you? That's a lot of shrimp.
I'm gonna give more than $5 to the Shrimp Welfare Project in the future and raise more money for them.
Well, we're not to know that. How much of that can you put into the? What if you die the next day from like dysentery? You know, how are we to know? Then the actual net positive would have been him taking the 5.
You just do the expected value calculation. You weigh the outcomes by their probabilities. So, like, what's the probability of me dying the next day versus the probability of me
1.
Yeah, 100%. Okay.
100.
I can't wait. TFO'd.
But I have my own like link for the Shrimp Welfare Project now.
You got your own link?
Kind of. So they
That's
go through
crazy.
It's like organization called every.org, and a lot of like charities work with this organization. They don't take like fees or anything. It's nice, especially because Shrimp Welfare Project is like a UK organization, so it's like annoying to donate. And like Tiltify, which I used last time for the Shrimp Welfare stream, like was fucked up sometimes because of the currency conversion. And I emailed every.org and I was like, hey, I'm not exactly like a charity, but if you could just like give me my link because I'm a cool streamer, that'd be cool. And they gave me one.
That's crazy.
Let's go.
Integrate it on my website, but my website sucks. I need to make it better before I do that. So
If you donate to Non-Fun today, he'll fix his website in about 6 to 10 business days.
Bro. Actually, I need you guys to donate because I need to buy probably bags and a cell phone plan for the fucking IRL stream.
True. And then remind me this time not to put the mouth into my mic. I mean, mic and mouth into. Never mind. Dyslexia. Jesus fucking Christ.
Verbal dyslexia confirmed.
Oh, that was bad.
Look, that happened to me like 2 minutes ago. So
we got to get the DGG in bed again. That one I have to say slower.
True.
And we have to make the proclamation come true of people know the NGG. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Am I gonna change the topic now? To talk about something that's actually insane.
Sure.
I don't know how much time I got for. Okay, so I've started my student teaching. Right, I think I've talked to you about this a little bit. Yeah. It is crazy. These stuff. Okay, first things first. Why? I don't know if this. I know you left school at the same time probably as me. This school that I am at paid a website. I'm gonna try to. Let me find a link for it though. I can see this. They paid for a school AI. Like the school partnered with this company.
Wait, hold on. Wait, the Darko LMAO. I mean, you have an embed because I posted it. Do you mean were you the one that did it when I was at the UFA event, or do you just mean like I know in DDG like you can just change the extension or whatever, but it doesn't change it for everyone.
Yeah, it popped up on the train or whatever it's called. Popped up on the list.
You can just like I know you can type a command in a chat and other people can click it, but I don't know. I was like the native embed, like the first one, right after designated stream.
I thought it was crazy that they just have an AI, and I remember I was walking around asking students, and I was like, "Hey, I was like, so can you just use this AI to like cheat on everything?" And they're like, "Yeah, for the most part." And I was like, and the school like allows this. They're like, yeah, it's the school partnered one. Like they tell you to use it. So for reference, my classroom is currently doing a project on mountains. I teach environmental science freshman class. This is, you have to look up like the type of eruption, blah, 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 right? And on the page, it literally said, you use this website or just use Reina, which is the name of the AI apparently. And I was like, what the fuck? What are we doing?
Wait, is it supposed to have like restrictions, like you can't tell it to just write an essay, but like you can tell it to improve your own essay? Or
I don't know. I asked a student, I was like, can it just do everything for you like ChatGPT? They're like, for the most part. So
incredible.
What are we doing? Also, this is even crazier. I don't think the non-finers will betray me. The teacher I have, non-fin, is a Republican Jordan Peterson fan.
Let's go.
On the first day, I have to like act like I agree with him, obviously, because I don't want to get any doubts. But he's explaining to me on my first day why he agrees with the idea that teachers shouldn't be able to unionize.
Hey.
Oh god, I forgot you like that one.
Holy shit! Only green flags. What the fuck?
Yeah. And the crazy he uses. Also, he told me he doesn't let his classroom use Wikipedia, which I always heard from teachers. But then he says because it's so political nowadays. I don't understand. He said, and I quote, "I don't understand how even science is getting political now." And I'm like, oh god, just please stop talking.
Wait, what kind of teacher is he? Like,
science. So I'm shadowing a science class because that's what my degree is in. Which is crazy, by the way, because he's what he's saying.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
So much.
And he uses Grok in his class. To the point, like for everything almost, he used Grok to make his like announcements at the beginning of the day. Like it'll be like, "Hey, classes, we're gonna be doing today," and then he'll have like a fun fact. I think one was about a mountain that erupted on a farmer's property, and it's insane. because he's just using Grok to make it. Like I'm watching him read the script off to the classroom.
The AI you mentioned, by the way, like has a lesson plan thing for teachers as well. Like it can do teachers' jobs.
Oh, he does that, but not with Magic. He does that with Grok. He has Super Grok. Let me actually clarify. It says Super Grok, so I know it's one of the paid versions.
Holy shit. That's like $200 a month. Super Grok?
Is Super Grok too? There's no way Super Grok is 200. Please tell me.
How the
why.
fuck are teachers able to afford Super Grok, man?
I'm pretty sure Super Grok is $200 a month.
It says Super Grok on that screen.
This is evidence that teachers
no. We need to pay more. No.
They get paid too much. Do you want more teachers to get access to Super Grok? I think not. Okay.
I think Super Grok just needs you pay for it a little bit. It's no way it's the 200 one.
No, Super Grok. Oh no! Wait. Yes. Okay. Super Grok is $30 a month. Super Grok Heavy is $300 a month.
That's not.
My point still stands.
That's not that bad.
Bro, they have to get an educational discount, dude. I don't know. I feel like Grok of all companies would be the least one, like the least likely to offer that.
But it's crazy. It's also they're not a lot of phones, which is funny to see. I think it's a North Carolina thing. That's a law here. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. They have to put them in like a little thing that just secures it. What else is crazy happened? Yeah, he uses Grok for not even crazy. It's crazy how much he uses it for. I will ask him a question. I think I asked him a question about a certain eruption I was crazy about. I think it was Mount Vesuvius. And he goes, I think it's this. And he goes, here, let me check. Turns over, searches up Grok, types it in. And I hate it because I can tell he's had so many conversations because the way it speaks, it's like, you're right to be skeptical. This, by the way, is verified 3 times. So it's not just speculation. It's stone cold facts. And I saw that line in the things and I was like, I'm going to fucking hurt myself in a video game. I was like, oh my God. And it gets even crazier. I'm going to send you a screenshot from my phone, non-phone. But this one you can't pull it up on stream.
Sure.
All right, Isaac. I want you to ask him about his thoughts on evolution.
I'm so scared to introduce any politics because I'm gonna either.
No. But like, here's how you frame it, too. Like,
but he is a scientist. I think I can find a way to pose it. I go to school literally today, since it's now 1:00. But so
you've always been curious about like the creation narrative.
I will ask him. I'll check. Yeah.
Wait, can I?
Yeah, you can. I said you can show this. Yeah. So this isn't the actual. So he pulls up YouTube one time on his school computer, and this is one of the videos on the recommended. For reference, I don't know if Bones can see the stream. I don't know if Napa has it pulled up at this point, but it is a picture of a Filipino woman, and in big text it says "Cream Pie Strategies?" and the Filipino flag, and everything I've seen so far, I've been able to like stonewall my face. But this is one of the few times where I couldn't. I made like the speed face when my mom is kind of homeless. And he goes, oh, that's not what you think it is. And I was like, it's okay, man. I was like, I understand YouTube. Algorithm can be random sometimes. Like I'm trying to give my way out. And he goes, no. He's like, I'm getting a wife in the Philippines. And he proceeds to explain to me that he downloaded apps to find Filipino women. Sorry, and yeah, he told me he's conservative, and he's like, I'm traditional conservative. Like if she wants a job, she can have one, but I'm traditionally conservative. Or yeah, that's what he said when it comes to relationships. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, man. He showed me their conversations, and in it, I could see AI photos of him and the girl he's talking to, which is insane. But is even more insane when it was very obvious that he AI'd himself to look skinnier.
Yeah.
He's AI catfishing a Filipino.
And in my head, I'm like, how did I roll this? Like, here's what I'm thinking in my head when there's all this going on. There are probably a good amount of teachers in North Carolina. Maybe 10% are Republican. So that's already a 1 in 10. And then you start adding the other stuff on. It's like, how did this happen? How did I?
Man, they're desperate.
Oh, he is an election. He's not in. I don't know if he's an election denier, but he is currently because he was telling me how he's not in a union because there's no unions in this state. There's until like I forgot what it's called, like partnerships. It's agencies. It's stuff like that. But his got bought by another one, and he's against it. I don't know why I didn't ask. And he was like, but they're holding an election to do something. And he was like, but I already know this election's not going to be fair. You know, I was like, he goes, there's ways to fudge it. And in my head, I'm like, do you feel that way only about these type of elections? Do you feel that way it's about maybe perhaps national election? I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah. How long do you have to shadow him or whatever the fuck?
So I think I have 2 more. So today's going to be my, I think it's my, I think I have 3 more class periods after this one. But this is only my beginning clinical. I think after I start advanced clinicals, I think I'm going to send my guidance counselor an email to be like, hey, I had a great time at school, but can we perhaps...
I just had the magic school AI like video playing in the background. This is math answers are not reliable.
Wait, for the AI? wait. Now I have so many more questions.
Keep it school appropriate.
In the fucking video.
Math has become political, guys. We need to 1 + 1 used to equal 2. Now it equals how many genders?
True. It's fucking incredible. Oh my god.
Yeah,
1 + 1 equals xenogenders are false.
I told Naf on that. I was like, I think AI needs to require
you.
IDs. I genuinely believe now you should have to input your ID into ChatGPT, into Grok, into all of them. If you're not over the age of 18, you should not be allowed AI, just because the brain capacity of these students are gonna just be so stupid.
We're gonna see a
Have you seen the,
decrease in IQ. It's gonna be
So crazy.
The Molt bot AI thing? Or Claude bot? It was Claude bot, it's now Molt bot.
The way I think about it is like there's always going to be students who use AI, but partnering with a school sanctioned AI is going to increase the percentage of students that use it like by a pretty big amount, I feel like.
Nice answer to my question, but yeah, I think
Sorry, what was your? I think we were just saying AI. So what was your question?
I was asking, have you heard of the Molt bot AI? It used to be called Claude bot. They got a cease and desist. It's like you can look up it on like fucking Twitter is where it went viral. It's a like AI. I don't know what to call it because like it doesn't actually do a lot of stuff itself. Kind of like it'll outsource a lot of stuff to like Claude, and like you can link it to your like Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini account and pay for like unlimited usage there. But like it's a AI that like you can run locally on your own computer or on a dedicated computer that like you never turn on or never turn off, and it you can do like a ton of shit for you. Like you can it's like your own. It's supposed to be like your own like personal assistant, and like you can set it up to like message you on Telegram and Discord. Like I set mine up to message me on be able to message me on Discord. Like I can tell it to like do stuff through the Discord app. Like I could I don't have it running right now, and also I didn't get it working properly with Gmail. But like you can literally just like go to Discord DMs and like tell it send an email to someone, and it'll do it, and like it can it'll remind you of important stuff too. And it's I'm not sure I trust it to actually do much for me. But I feel like if it did, like if it sent an email, for example, that was like bad, it'd be kind of hard to explain that.
Oh, don't worry. Half the emails I get in college, I can just tell are from AI. So don't worry. You're gonna send a horrible AI email, and you're gonna get one in return.
Probably. It looks cool, and it's all.
I love it.
It's all like local and stuff, other than like some of the stuff it outsources to your own account. So you don't have to pay for it separately, and you don't have to worry about some of your data stuff.
Yeah, this next generation's cooked. So cooked.
Probably.
I just think about it is like if you not to go full 1984, but like if you just are the dominant AI and you win like the war, like how Google like won the search engine war, I feel you can move like the needle on a lot of different thoughts when it comes to like culture on stuff. If you wanted to, I'm going malicious here, obviously, but
I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a winner take all thing. It could be, but I don't know. Like we have a decent number of social media companies like all competing. They all do like kind of different things.
They all kind of do different things. Yeah, AI. The whole point is that very simple: ask question, get answer, right? Like Grok, ChatGPT, all those.
Yeah.
Gemini, I guess, is also in there.
Does this even actually? Does the magic school thing like have their own AI model, or do they? I imagine
It's called Reina, from what I know. So if you can
did they
find
actually
something,
like build it themselves, or is it just like
it's
a
on their
reskin version
website.
of-
Like the website of I don't know. It would be funny if like they just have the what's it called, the like API stuff, and all they say is like AI be academic, and then it's just ChatGPT but reskinned. So I mean, good money. And then like if you're the school, you're like, yeah, no, we don't use ChatGPT in any of our work. We really just, it's like whenever what was it called, the Writers Guild Union made it so that they can't write with AI, for Hollywood can't write like with AI, and then what they do is they just pay studios that write with AI and then send it back.
Right. Who knows? But maybe it doesn't matter. The next generation will be cooked. Okay, we'll just have AI supercomputers doing all that
True
engineering for us. Okay,
Yeah,
we don't need engineers. We don't need English teachers. Okay, we're gonna have the AI do it
Quick,
for us.
ask
Okay.
Grok how many genders there are. Grok, how many genders are there? What does Grok say to that? Let me ask. Grok, how many genders
Probably depends on if you ask publicly
are
or
there?
privately.
If you ask Super Grok, he'll give the correct answer. Trust.
Grok said it depends on your position. Is it strictly binary? Then 2. Binary with rare medical exceptions, then it's 2 plus very rare DSD cases. Then it's gender as an identity spectrum. Then it's expanded but finite list. Then it's 3. Then it's 2 sexes, unlimited genders.
Based, I guess? Question mark.
I mean, it's just meant to
I think
not offend you, no matter where you are. Like,
I go with certified medical expert Joe Biden, at least 3.
I love Joe Biden.
Anyways,
every day. Goddamn.
I've got a raid to catch. Have fun, y'all. Good talking.
All right.
Peace.
Appreciate it.
I guess that means I should also see the door. It's like what? It's my first time on stream in like 20 million years. Okay. Actually, one more thing.
Well.
I learned why I couldn't. Well, I don't know about you, but I can't play games while I stream. Mainly because I did like a deep dive into my PC. It's just because I don't.
It was overheating, wasn't it, or was it?
No. It was just because my CPU would always max out, and I learned it's just because my CPU has 8 threads instead of 16,
Your
which
CP.
like all PCs. CPU. Okay. No, I'm not fucking. What's his name?
Lucari.
Lucari. Thank you. Yeah. But my CPU doesn't. It only has 8 threads, and like if you want to stream and play any type of video game, you just need 16. It's like the bottom level. But I found a guy on Facebook who was selling the last CPU in the line of my motherboard that has 16. But also, I have no way to. It's one without pins, so I have no way to like. There's no way to tell if it's damaged or not.
Sure.
And I don't want to spend. And 400 naturally, and he's selling it for 200. But he has a good history.
Mm-hmm.
But I have
no idea.
Like
I got my CPU pretty cheap on Facebook Marketplace, and it was technically new. It was so I have a like Intel 14900K, and they had you might have heard about this. Intel had a lot of issues with their micro code. It was like, the firmware that the CPU and motherboards had that would like just fry the fucking CPU. So
oh god,
this guy's they were very unreliable. This guy's like CPU got fried, and like he like sent a warranty request into Intel or whatever, and while he was waiting on that, he was like, I'm just gonna get a different fucking CPU. But then he got his new warranty CPU, and he sold it to me. So I knew it was probably gonna work because it was like new in box and stuff.
I'm always like, what if the dude just lying?
Yeah, it's hard to know for sure. But yeah.
Especially with CPU, like you can't look at a CPU and know if there's damage. That's the scary part.
Yeah. Bro, lol, don't tell me, haha, I got a 14900KF aware. I mean, they fixed all the stuff by now. You just gotta upgrade your BIOS.
Okay, well, I'm gonna head to the door. Have fun with whatever you're doing. Okay, kill more shrimp.
True. Thanks for something. Alex Isaac will be at the UFA tour at the University of South Carolina, where Destiny and Myron Gaines are. I actually don't even know if they are technically debating. I think they're just both having events on the same campus, but they will both be there debating students and stuff. So if you're going there, you can say hi. And if you want to watch, you can watch our IRL stream there. What do you think about Destiny? I mean, I think he's a decent debater since he's like also central left. Central left. We're gonna align on like most things. I don't really have like crazy strong opinions on like any of the drama shit. I don't follow that much of it. His crazy allegations in his personal life, yeah, obviously. I don't know the full history. But like I can't comment on some of the older allegations. I know a little bit about the Pixie stuff. I know I started watching him like only a little bit before the Melina stuff happened. The divorce. So, you know. Okay, we'll go over this little section. She not considered distributed other ladies' private photos, and she ended up leaking. She ended up getting leaked because of that. So scummy. So, my understanding is that like Pixie had sent him like whatever videos before of her doing stuff, and Destiny. He said he never would have done anything that he couldn't record and at least show to Melina. And he sent the videos to fucking, was it Rose or whatever? And yeah, their account got hacked and it got leaked or whatever. I don't think that actually meets the like legal standard of the shit or whatever, of the like intent to distribute. That I think is required for the case or whatever. But I don't think it was it was not net good. Like I don't know. I don't follow all the fucking shit. I don't mean legal. Sure, I'm just laying out my position. I mean, he literally distributed someone's else's private photos, crazy breach of trust stuff. But I don't think so. My understanding again is he never would have done it if he like thought he never would have hooked up with Pixie even if he thought he couldn't do that, because he said he would always show whatever shit to Melina, and that Pixie had sent videos of her and her boyfriend before or whatever. So I don't think it was like crazy for him to think that like there was some level of understanding there. But I don't know. The lore gets me with this one. Destiny never actually talked to her. Oh yeah, I mean I watch whenever Destiny like makes a whatever video on it. Sometimes I'll watch it, so I know. Apparently the Rose account was actually being run by some fucking 25-year-old British dude or some shit or whatever. But bro, that is Destiny propaganda. What part of that is Destiny propaganda? The Rose thing or the none of that is true? But which part? They never talked to Rose? I'm pretty sure that was admitted as much in court. And then some of the stuff, like when he says he like never would have like hooked up Pixie if he couldn't show it to Melina at least. That was admitted by Rose under deposition. Yeah. Like I guess for that part I'm just taking him at his word, but I don't have a strong reason to not believe that. So I don't know. Talk to fucking Zip Zip or some shit. I'm not the guy for that one. The depot was posted, the redacted version at least. Yeah. He wasn't sending her private photos to Melina. He was sending her private photos to someone. So that's not what I'm saying. Someone he just met and who doesn't reliably know. That's crazy. What I'm saying is, like Destiny has stated that he would have never hooked up with Pixie if he didn't have an understanding that he could share those videos. And the example he gave for that is that he, you know, Melina would like want to see them or whatever. I'm not saying that like sharing them with Melina and some rando is like equivalent or anything. I'm just saying that that's evidence to Destiny's understanding, right? That there was some understanding that he could like share the videos that was acceptable, right? I'm not using that as I'm not trying to say those are like comparable. The understanding was never clearly established to extend beyond Melina to some complete rando. What's the evidence for that? What's the case for that? I don't think Pixie. I don't know if she ever explicitly approved it being sent to Melina, or if she ever explicitly disapproved of that. I don't think I don't know what level of understanding Pixie had there. I don't know. Okay, last thing here. Okay, I talk to fucking people who know more than me about the Destiny drama. We're talking about healthcare, okay? Get fucked. Scale up, like quite a bit. Like things like I mentioned a few times, pharmaceutical innovation. Like I think doing single payer healthcare, like unironically, like would be like if it led to reduced. All right, stop. I mean, I don't like. I'm just telling you, like. I don't know a ton about it, so I'm not gonna have super strong opinions. I can tell you my understanding, but I'm not actually mad or anything. I'm just saying I'm doing this now, and then I'm gonna I should go to bed because I have to get up relatively early tomorrow. But realistically, I'm gonna fuck around for a while till I go to bed. Pharmaceutical innovation, which I think it would, like that's like millions of like life years lost, like per year.
Well,
Can't the government just fund? Yeah, go for it.
Well, just from a totally stupid perspective, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But like Europe.
Goddamn, I mean, we'll get back to this in a second, but goddamn, the sock dem mindset. I didn't get to the full evaluation of it.
Well, with innovation of.
Go watch the panel we were on 8 months ago that don't represent our positions now at all.
I mean, what's the argument against? How does that factor?
I don't even know if that's uploaded on my channel. It's uploaded on Isaac's channel.
Your argument.
So if you look at especially the novel drugs and like the specialty drug spending, a lot more of that happens in the US. And even for companies that are founded in Europe and like use European investor money, a lot of them are, still in the US market. In fact, like drugs made in Europe will get approved in the US first. Part of the reason we spend so much on drugs is because like, if you look at 2025, it's 70% of the novel drugs and new fancy drugs were approved in the US before any other country.
It's true. There was something I saw today, by the way. Fuck. Doesn't sing considering the video is your POV because I didn't record it. Yeah. What's it?
And that's a pretty consistent trend.
Just the life years of those fancy drugs, is that more than we would get from single payer and everyone being able to have consistent and good effective healthcare?
Oh, there's like this John A. Vernon guy has like a million fucking like papers on this issue, and I should have I remember seeing this paper before. Like there's a paper that just estimates the effect that like regulations have on the number of drugs made in the EU. It's a little old by now. I mean, John A. Vernon's dead by now. I remember I looked at his fucking like profile because I wanted to see. I gotta get this guy in the fucking non-fawn podcast, dude. But he's dead. So unfortunately, not happening. This is just the abstract. Haven't read the full paper. I've just seen the paper cited. I'm trusting the abstract and the understanding of the author citing it. I think it's Scott Alexander. EU countries closely regulate pharmaceutical prices, whereas the US does not. This paper shows how price constraints affect the profitability, stock returns, and R&D spending of EU and US firms. Compared to EU firms, US firms are more profitable, earn higher stock returns, and spend more on research and development. Some differences have increased over time. In 1986, EU pharmaceutical R&D exceeded US R&D by about 24%, but by 2004, EU R&D trailed US R&D by about 15%. During these 19 years, US R&D spending grew at a real annual compound rate of 8.8%, while EU R&D spending grew at a real 5.4% rate. Results show that EU consumers enjoyed much lower pharmaceutical price inflation, however, at the cost of 46 fewer new medicines introduced by EU firms and 1,680 fewer EU research jobs. And like the average, it's just a John and Vernon paper too. He might have a paper on that as well. But eventually go through and like read the full papers of like a lot of this stuff. But like this is a semi-old paper right now. Like this just finds like the average new FDA approved novel drug. So like the difference between like obviously like follow-up drugs and stuff and actual new molecules that are like novel and like the only way to treat certain illnesses or like a new entire like mechanism for treating certain illnesses. That improves. That like adds like 1.2 million life years on average, which is just I mean they explained here. That's just how many added aggregate years of life get added. So I think he says like the average this estimate between 1960 and 1997. Average approval increased the life expectancy of people born in the year. The drug was approved by 0.16 years, which is 5.8 days. And there's roughly this is outdated by now, but you know, roughly 4 million births. So if you just times the average life expectancy by you know, that with the added with 4 million times the 0.16 years or whatever, you get 3,000 life years saved like per new drug approval, and then it also increases life expectancy of later generations as well. And if you add all that together, the estimate is 1.2 million life years. There are some that find, like I think if you look at this paper is even larger, although I'm honestly more skeptical of this paper. I have to read the full thing. This is like a RAND report. RAND, to be clear, it's not like not to be confused with Eind Rand or anything. It's not like a crazy libertarian institute or anything. Don't get that concerned. But they try to estimate it, and they find like by 2060 it would be like a 0.7 decrease in life expectancy for people aged 55 to 59. And that just leads like crazy aggregate results. Would you be affecting, if you assume that it's going to affect, or they say it's going to affect by 2060 people in the US and Europe roughly equally in terms of the life years, like life expectancy drop. And because of the fact the population is growing, those effects only get bigger. So it's like actually, like it's like 700 million life years lost. But you know, I'm not sure. I'd have to read the full study and read more stuff to have a lot of confidence in that stuff. But I think, you know, it's easy to see the economic reasoning behind it. It's easier to find sort of smaller scale studies looking at more specific discrete incidents about the response of R&D to like price controls and stuff in the pharmaceutical industry, and they find like it does decrease that stuff. Although in fairness, it seems to decrease non-novel innovation more than novel innovation. Like it's, you know, not inconceivable at all that the life expectancy effects would be that big.
Sure.
And even if you only put like 50% confidence in it, right? Then like you should factor that into the expected value calculation. Like even if you think it's like a 40% chance you might be wrong, if on one side you're weighing 700 million life years lost, and the other side you're weighing like per capita drug expenditure savings of like $1,000 a year or something, it's like, well, okay, one of these things might be a little more important here.
Probably, yeah. I mean, so it might depend a little bit on what assumptions you make.
I pressed you on this before, but like if I'm for giving everyone healthcare or letting old people live from 80 to 120, I say fuck those old people. I don't give a shit. But
I swear, when you're
it's just in principle though, so Phil, like there would be a number of people where like you could let die in order to give 20 extra years to a bunch of old people, right? Like there could be a scale at which that is worth it.
That Stacy woman,
crazy, unbelievable. Cringe white pill take. What are we doing?
So you would let one child die, okay, for a million, over a million, 300
They're already
million.
old. They're already old.
Doesn't he react to this live stream too? If you saw, I did.
So what is the utility of being 80?
You didn't react to this part. No one did. They all reacted to the slop part.
That's what my what's the expected
A
utility
lot
of
of
an
them
80-year-old?
are happy, bro.
No. I want that Star Trek
You could
universe
raise
where
their
when you get to
retirement
retirement
age,
age
do that,
because
make
there's
them
not enough
work.
resources, we just put them in the big suicide booth, and then civilization keeps on churning. All right, I'm anti-old people. That's my political message. That's my winning political platform. Old people.
The people who vote the most. What were you going to say before?
Wait,
No,
real quick. I want to address the PISCO point real quick. It's with regards to the government funding thing.
He's just saying, why can't the government just fully subsidize it, replace it, or whatever? I go into some of the issues here. I wish you talked about it for longer because I didn't get to some of the issues that I wanted to bring up.
But, like, it's just a I think there's a lot of memes out there about the amount of research that comes from the public sector. Because the NIH does a lot of the basic research. Like the NIH will give grants to universities and to researchers and stuff to like do a lot of from my understanding by basic research, a lot of it is like sort of like making new molecules and like analyzing like their kind of like micro effects and stuff and seeing like what could potentially be viable for a medicine. And then like the pharma companies do the much more risky, much more expensive R&D of like actually making a new compound from this like theoretical identified molecule that could work. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. It's like literally, it's close to 90% of drugs that like fail. And it's like the amount that private pharmaceutical companies spend on R&D every year is like over double the amount the NIH entire budget is, right? Soy pill seems reasonable. I think soy pill is a reasonable person overall, and I don't think like what is it there was like an incredibly serious take. I think soy pill would let a child die as opposed to making everyone live to 80 years old instead of 60. Okay, but I think it's probably underweighting. I think it does probably underweight the value there. I don't know. So for one, you're not going to save money in that case, or at least not much money. Part of the reason we want to negotiate drug prices now with single payers so that we save money on drugs and the government doesn't have to pay out the ass for drugs. But secondly, like I think it should. Would his argument apply in reverse too? What do you mean by reverse? Like, would you save a child to end? I guess that's a good question. That seems a lot more unintuitive. They can feed it off life expectancy rather than extending life expectancy. Yeah, like you should be very specific in sort of what market failure you're identifying, and then you should have some model that addresses specifically that market failure. So if the issue is that you think firms are going to underinvest in pharmaceutical innovation, then do patents, and we already do patents. And I actually think Reagan partially screwed up patents and made it too easy to get like follow-up patents on non-novel medication. But patents address that issue, I think, way better than like a government system.
But how does single payer get rid of like the pharmaceutical industry? You could have single payer with the private pharmaceutical industry.
Sure, but you would agree, like insofar as you're negotiating prices down, that would reduce the revenue and the expected revenue of pharmaceutical companies, right?
Oh, sure. I mean, but then can't you have then the market failure would be, innovation for products that are, like rare diseases.
That wouldn't be a market failure. That'd be government failure. That would. I think that first of all, I think there's like already. When I say like market failure, right? I think so. The reason we have basic research, right? We're talking about like if you want some type of intervention in the pharmaceutical industry, presumably it's because you think there's some type of market failure in like a fully private or mostly private pharmaceutical. What's your evaluation of PISCO's reasoning skills? I watched this before. He seemed ill-equipped. Yeah, so I think PISCO, to be clear, PISCO's my GOAT, okay? I think PISCO is an incredible debater against Trump people. I think PISCO is able to track conversations usually very well. Like a lot of times I'm impressed with how he can track points like very cleanly and respond in a very clean way. And I find his ability to do that incredible. I think he's rhetorically pretty good too. I think, I don't know, it might just be because he doesn't have the econ brain intuitions. Like, I think here, he's just like, there's probably just arguments he hasn't heard. Like, I don't think he's like not smart. I think he's, for the most part, he tracked the claims. I do think he kind of conflates. What I was talking about here, to keep cutting off your train of thought. Sorry, man. No worries. But like, what I was talking about here, again, is like, I'm talking about if you want intervention in the pharmaceutical industry, presumably it's because you think there is some type of market failure there. And to be clear, to some extent, I agree. I think there is a market failure in basic research. And therefore, we have the NIH to, I think I have stuff written down, but we have the NIH to do that, to fund basic research, right? I think there is a market failure in essentially in innovation generally, but particularly when you have very high fixed cost, like drugs have, all the research and development that goes into drugs. And again, it's very risky. So you can put $1 million, way more than $1 million. You can put, $200 million into a drug and have that drug fail. And now, you're hoping that one of your other drugs works out to make back all that money, but very low marginal cost in that, like, each pill after you do all the research and development, it's very cheap, right? Like, even like the most expensive medication is like very cheap to actually produce. That's why we have patents to grant them, a monopoly, a guaranteed 10, 20 years of profit
after that. Like that's why, you know, I think patents, like I said, I think in the medical, pharmaceutical industry, they are not good at, well, I'm going to say they're not good. They're not perfect at addressing it because I think for a lot of reasons, it's kind of too easy to get patents on like follow-up medication. I do think follow-up medication is very important. And like, for example, the fact that price controls, at least in the short run, or price negotiations, I think they're more accurately characterized as price controls given the power the government has to kind of coerce them. In the short run, at least, they probably do tend to affect follow-up medication more than like novel medication. In the long run, I don't believe that's true. You know, still very important. It's very important to address the differences between patients because a lot of patients just respond differently to drugs. So if you want to make sure a drug works for most people, you have to have a lot of different versions of it, and you only really get that type of information, that type of knowledge from actually launching the drug. Like if you look at like for the drugs that we already did, like Biden did price negotiations on, right, after the IRA. Or I don't think they've come into effect yet, but or no, actually they came into effect 2026, right? So maybe they are already in effect. Like those had 61% of their R&D cost incurred after the drug was initially developed because they made follow-up medication and they made incremental improvements, and you know that's very important.
Sorry.
In that case, that would be
the failure of the market that the government has regulated such that the market doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, whatever.
If the concern is, by the way, just equitable access, like if you're just concerned, which that's a concern I share, right? Is that it's in some sense it feels unfair. It's probably harmful for like society on like a social fabric level to just have a bunch of poor people who just can't afford the fucking drugs they need to live, right? And I think more generally, there are instrumental gains from redistribution, and that like the utility that Jeff Bezos loses from being taxed $1 million is a lot less than the utility that poor people gain from being given $1 million to buy drugs with, right? So I share those concerns. I just think you should subsidize consumers in that case. And that actually gives drug companies more money to invest. And you keep a lot of the incentives there. You keep consumer choice. DGGL, true. That's a good thing. I think we should do that.
If you want to call that
and you could also do Harburger tax on IP. If you guys aren't, some of you guys are probably familiar with what a Harburger tax is generally. But it's just the idea that you should have companies self-assess the value of either their, in this case, their intellectual property, but in other cases, you know, their assets, their land, anything like that. And they have to pay, you know, some rate on their own self-assessment. And based on the self-assessment, they can either have there are kind of two options. You can either say anyone can buy their asset for the self-assessed price, or the government can buy the asset for the self-assessed price, right? So you can say, you know, if you're doing a Harburger tax on pharmaceutical, like IP in this case, if Pfizer has a patent on some new drug, they can say, oh, we value this drug at, you know, $10 billion. And that either have to pay 5% on that $10 billion every year, or at least what they self-assess it every year. Or if they, you know, try to like sneakily undervalue it, then you could say, well, you know, someone else, Eli Lilly, whatever, just, you know, put an offer for $10 billion on this drug. You have to sell to them now. Or the government would have to sell to them now. Or the government could buy it at $10 billion as well. I think that could address a lot of these issues as well that people think are failures in, or market failures in the pharmaceutical industry.
Government failure, market failure. I mean, I don't care about terminology, but then specifically the funding and the subsidies would go to shore up that issue. And the single payer is there to address the market failure of health insurance, which is a humongous market failure.
So I think like the exact problems will depend on your exact model for like, you know, giving or like doing pharmaceutical innovation with subsidies. So again, for one, you should identify the market failure that you want to fix and then like have a specific plan to fix it. I don't think that,
like, I think there's some, maybe I wasn't clear enough. I think there was like some conflation there between, or misunderstanding there between like me saying, I want you to identify the market failure in the pharmaceutical industry that you are trying to fix with like the subsidies, or like what generally you want to fix, as opposed to like healthcare more or sorry, what general failure in the pharmaceutical industry do you want to fix, as opposed to generally in healthcare, what failure do you want to fix? Because I probably mostly agree with him on, well, mostly might be a strong word. Agree with many of his points on healthcare being a market failure.
I think the health insurance market failure is well known to people.
That's for health insurance.
Healthcare is an inelastic good. This is a market for products.
That's sufficient. But it just so with regards to like,
I just want to recap why I think health. I think there's a lag. I'm not trying to interrupt you. So I think the health insurance market failure because A, it's the highly inelastic products. B, the information is like fucked. There's a huge disparity in information. 3, it's a monopolistic set of actors who have disproportionate control over.
I think the first 2 points I don't entirely disagree with. You can fix kind of the second one. I think there's evidence for just the ACA like exchange standardization of like plans actually quite improving the like information asymmetry situations there. I thought I had a fucking study on this shit. Oh, wait, I think it's this. How product standardization affects choice, evidence from the Massachusetts Health Insurance Exchange. Examines the effect of choice architecture on the Massachusetts Health Insurance Exchange, a policy change, standardized cost-sharing parameters of plans across insurers, and altered information presentation. Post-change, consumers chose more generous plans and different brands, but were not more price-sensitive. We use a discrete choice model that allows policy to affect how attributes were valued to decompose a policy's effect into a valuation effect and a product availability effect. The brand shifts are largely explained by the availability effect and the generosity shift by valuation effect. A hypothetical choice experiment replicates the results and explores alternative counterfactuals. I think there's multiple. Okay, I'd have to sort through some shit, but there are various things you can find like that.
Prices, these aren't like easily exchangeable, and again, low information issues there. And yeah, I mean, there's all the things of market failures with respect to health insurance. I can't imagine that you wouldn't concede that.
No, I agree that there definitely are market failures in health insurance. Technically, I don't think health insurance is particularly inelastic until we mandated it. There were a lot of uninsured people, but what I'm talking about right now, like pharmaceutical innovation.
No, that's not what inelastic is. Inelasticity refers to the inelasticity of demand. That has to do with whether or not sensitivities to the change in right, but just because there exists, I don't know what it was, like 5, 7, 8% uninsured, doesn't disprove that it's an inelastic demand for health insurance.
I think it's relatively inelastic, but I think so in the context of healthcare, when people say it's a market failure because of inelasticity, they're referring to the fact that like people will pay whatever they want to like save their life, right? They're saying like it's essentially a perfectly inelastic good. With regards to health insurance, I mean, you have a variety of different plans you can choose from. I agree there can be information asymmetries and consumers can make poor decisions. There's evidence for that. And you do have the choice to not buy health insurance, and a lot of young, healthy people, absent the sort of mandate to do it, would not buy health insurance, right? It wouldn't be enough to make it.
The mandate is zero right now. Wait, no, there is no. The mandate is zero. I mean, the
I thought I was I thought the mandate was still in effect. I didn't know the tax penalty was zero.
Tax penalty
as of now.
Trump in 2018.
Or as of 2018.
There's no more. To the 2020 election was to say, well, you sustained the ACA under Congress's taxing authority, and now we've reduced the penalty to $0. Therefore, is it still constitutional? But the response was, you don't have standing because since the penalty is $0, you haven't faced an injury, therefore you can't sue about it, which is pretty funny. But sorry, Hutch, you wanted to say something.
I don't know when this happened, but
so we didn't get to. I didn't get to the shit I want to talk about. I think the reason why, or the only thing I mentioned was the expensive part. Like you don't want the government kind of just taking over. Like all pharmaceutical innovation is largely because of different information and different incentives. So the first issue I did mention is just the cost issue. I think it would be like roughly 300 billion, or sorry, like it's like 100 to, depending on the assumptions you make, 110 billion to like 200 billion a year. You want to keep the same pace of drug innovation, assuming no efficiency loss, and that would offset a lot of the gains to cost that we're supposed to get from single player healthcare.
via negotiating down lower drug prices, right? But secondly, it's just an issue of incentives, and there's this can apply to R&D kind of generally. There's something called like the hold-up problem, essentially, and this happens in private markets too, by the way. This is a reason why regulation can actually be like, this is one reason a regulation can be efficiency enhancing, is that it reduces the hold-up problem where, you know, suppliers that have to face like a fixed cost for making some type of innovation, making some type of product, can be essentially like strong-armed after they've already invested some of the fixed cost into selling that at a lower price. So there's evidence for this happening in like private markets and in the fucking like chicken industry and stuff. But you can just imagine in the context of healthcare, you know, if the government were to initially have some contract to say, you know, we're going to contract out Pfizer for, you know, $10 billion to make some of these new drugs, and Pfizer starts this R&D and they're, you know, 5 years in and they have like some sunk cost, and now a different party comes into office and there's political pressure to lower drug prices, because Pfizer's already invested a ton of that sunk cost. You know, it may still be like rational for them to accept the lower like payout that they're now promised because they've invested a sunk cost, right? And they could be strong-armed into having to accept a lower price. That increases uncertainty a lot. That obviously makes pharmaceutical companies less willing to invest in that stuff. Another big issue is, and it makes firms less likely to enter. Now, we already have a lot of regulations for what firms are allowed to enter into pharmaceutical stuff for, you know, probably good reason with regards to making sure drugs are actually safe to take and stuff. But we like, I would say another issue is just measurement, and like a lot of people I think this happens and understands that the like measurement issue that it sort of happens in like military R&D. Like you hear a lot about like Lockheed Martin, you know, like they just have like contracts like based on they're like reimbursed like for how much they how much a project cost plus like 20%. So like they don't have any incentive to like actually reduce cost, and it's sort of hard to measure to provide like accurate like quantifiable measurements of how actually good this stuff is, because like insofar as you make the payout like conditional on meeting these certain goals or whatever, a lot of times you might run into issues where they, instead of focusing on what actually might be like genuinely truly innovative, just focus on like meeting these certain conditions, right? And like play a lot of games with that because that's what's economically rational for them to do now. And it's because medical innovation especially, it's like very unpredictable, and a lot of discoveries even to this day in medical innovation are made like almost by accident or like by you know, some chance when they're researching other drugs. And that is another issue which is that it's hard to reward those types of innovations under a system where like you're just like directly subsidizing them or like giving out like contracts for developing stuff, because it's like unexpected. It's naturally going to fall outside any predetermined, you know, reward that you like pay them for. Yeah, I think those are all issues that you should be concerned about. And it's probably the same reason why, like, you know, the government would be less effective at doing R&D in a lot of other industries, right? It's like, obviously we have our successes. I think the NIH is a success. I think, you know, DARPA is a military R&D example of military R&D going relatively well. Like, you know, like, to be clear, I think there's more reason for wanting to subsidize pharmaceutical innovation because there's more likely a market failure. But it's like, you know, why can't we just subsidize all innovation in like cars? Like, okay, well, like we could, but it would probably have worse outcomes for many of the reasons I just mentioned. And again, with cars, I recognize there's not really a market failure in the same way. There could be market failures with pharmaceutical stuff, but
did we talk about the Gavin Newsom Ben Shapiro conversation?
Yeah, that was the fucking healthcare part. Yeah. I haven't like read this full thing yet. I was just new David Splinter paper has hit
his website. Laffer curves are flat. I gotta head to bed. I'm about to go to bed too. But before I go, what are your 50 most interesting things you've learned? Oh, fuck. Let me recount them. What was number? That there are 14 million insects for every person. That I didn't read all 50, but yeah, I read some of that Bethany's Bulldog post. That GDP numbers for low-income countries are often fake. It's in fucking Zimbabwe by one guy or whatever. It might have been Zambia. Laffer peaks at the revenue maximizing top, which I knew, like broadly, like a lot of the sort of GDP from low-income countries is in a black market that doesn't actually get calculated properly. I didn't know the full extent. I guess I should read that. I'm going to do it off stream, but read the blog post that he cited. Africa peaks at a revenue maximizing top rate, where revenue losses from behavioral responses offset revenue gains from a higher tax rate. Prior studies, however, largely overlook the Laffer curve shape, rely on simplified tax functions, and often omit shifting across business types and tax interactions. We show that modeling distinct tax bases more accurately and incorporating these interactions lowers the revenue maximizing top tax rate and the associated revenue gains, yielding flat Laffer curves. Over this flat region, increasing the top tax return raises relatively little revenue. Instead, raising top rates primarily trades off between progressivity and growth. Good night, bro. I appreciate you stopping by. Momentum. You can look at like figure 3. Like that, I haven't read this whole paper or anything, but that's where they provide the actual little shape here. Nice to reviewing that paper. Reviewing is a strong word. I was just welcome in Ryan Rabbit. Splinter dropped another banger. It's true. It's true. It's true. But I haven't read it yet. I was just bringing it up to mention it because it's interesting and cool. And I was going to briefly mention it before I end the stream, which is like right now. But yeah, okay. Well, that's a cool paper. I'll probably read it off stream. Damn, yeah, I know. I was just talking about. I mean, you can go back in the VOD. You know, I was just talking about my argument with PISCO. You know, about single-payer healthcare and pharmaceutical innovation, and we talked about what other accounts that we went over. Some, you know, the Jerome Powell memes, the Trump account memes. Okay, well, anyway, on time. Love streaming. Love to guys watch me stream. Is there anyone I can send you to? Make sure to like and sub. Make sure to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Kick, YouTube. Trovo. Alex got ratioed again on Twitter. Who is Alex? A lot of people got beef with his studies. I don't know. Hold on, is Tomfoolery playing video games, or is he's reacting to the same debate I watched earlier? Oh, yeah, Alex. I always forget everyone else's last name, but yeah, the fucking Gato guy. Yeah, I think it's Narasta. Alex Narasta, I think is what it is. Wait, hold on. What straight are I doing? It wasn't Piers Morgan. What is a difficult decision? I don't know. Okay, you're going to irrelevant. Okay. Wait, why do I have 12 viewers on Kick? That can't be accurate, can it? Says I have 9 now. Okay, well, head over to Irrelevant on Kick and YouTube. Appreciate it. Love you guys. See you guys. Not tomorrow, probably, but the day after. Like, subscribe.